what is going on entertainment-wise? We'll start with the box office. Beetlejuice easily won the North American box office this weekend. It raked in $110 million and took the number one spot on the chart. And that gives Beetlejuice the second highest ever domestic opening for September, and that is behind 2017's It. Second place was Deadpool and Wolverine. That's still doing well.
Still going along.
The Ronald Reagan biopic Reagan was third. Rounding out the top five, we've got Alien Romulus in fourth, and It Ends With Us in the fifth spot.
I understand that the Reagan movie is not so much a biopic as it's Reagan playing Minecraft.
Oh, wow.
Look what I built.
There's a market for that.
Yeah.
Look at this, Mommy. I built a castle.
Yeah, out of jelly beans.
Out of jelly beans.
Yeah. All right, so this is big news. Kendrick Lamar is going to pop out on the NFL's biggest stage next year. The Grammy winner will headline the Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show in New Orleans. The NFL, Apple Music, and Rock Nation announced yesterday that Lamar would lead the halftime festivities from the Caesars Superdome February 9th. The rap megastar, who has won 17 Grammys, said he's looking forward to bringing hip-hop to the NFL's championship game, where he performed as a guest artist with Snoop and Dr. Dre in 2022. And here's a clip of the announcement.
What the deal, everybody? My name Kendrick Lamar, and I'll be performing at Super Bowl 59. Will you be pulling up? I hope so. You know it's only one opportunity to win a championship. No round twos. Let's get it.
Lamar said in a statement, rap music is still the most impactful genre to date, and I'll be there to remind the world why they got the right one.
You know, I've been aware of Kendrick Lamar's gravitas in music, but I didn't. It came out of, like, I didn't know that for the longest time. I didn't know how much he was revered, and apparently, like, he's the higher echelon.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, I had no idea.
None. He's expected experience massive success since his debut in 2012, and since then he's accumulated, like I said, 17 Grammy wins and became the first non-classical, non-jazz musician to win a Pulitzer Prize for his 2017 album, Damn.
It's pretty amazing.
Not bad, right? Yeah. All right, so this is an interesting story, and it does tie into the acting realm as well, but Linkin Park's now member Emily Armstrong has been hit with some criticism for allegedly supporting actor and convicted rapist Danny Masterson in court, and now the musician is responding on social media. The singer, who was announced as the new vocalist for Linkin Park on Thursday, shared a message on her Instagram story Saturday that seemed to address the backlash. She said, "Hi, I'm Emily, and I'm new to so many of you, and I wanted to clear the air about something that had happened a while back." She acknowledged a situation in which she supported what she called a controversial figure in the post, but she didn't mention Masterson by name. She said, "Several years ago, I was asked to support someone I considered a friend at a court appearance and went to one early hearing as an observer. Soon after, I realized I shouldn't have. I always try to see the good in people, and I misjudged him. I have never spoken with him since. Unimaginable details emerged, and he was later found guilty." So, yeah, she's come out and said, "I was wrong."
I think a number of people stepped forward who probably weren't all that aware. They just saw a friend who they felt was having a situation, not knowing the crap he had been accused of, and so the reaction also is because Chester Bennington had molestation issues in his past, and so. But yeah, so I think this should take care of it.
She concluded with words of support for victims of sexual abuse, saying, "To say it as clearly as possible, I do not condone abuse or violence against women, and I empathize with the victims of these crimes." The band released its first new single in 7 years on Wednesday and announced that Armstrong would be taking over lead vocalist duties for the forthcoming album and world tour. Fans' reaction to Linkin Park's first performance with Armstrong, which was live streamed on Thursday, seemed largely positive until social media users began to discuss her alleged history with Masterson. Rolling Stone and Consequence of Sound reported late this week that the Mars Volta musician Cedric Bixler Zavala and his wife Chrissy Carnell Bixler, one of the women who accused Masterson of sexual assault, have been two of Armstrong's most vocal critics. Carnell Bixler reshared a comment that her husband made last year on a post from Armstrong's other band, Dead Sarah, which was, "I'm surprised none of you wrote a letter on Danny Masterson's behalf since your corny-ass singer showed up to support him in the prelims. Remember, Emily?" Upon his initial arrest in 2020, Masterson was charged with raping 3 women in separate incidents between 2001 and 2003. He was convicted on 2 out of 3 counts of rape in a retrial in May of 2023.
You know, you try to place yourself in the situation where, let's say there's somebody that you're very good friends with or moderate friends with, but you know them as, in your world, they're a stand-up person. They've been a good friend to you. You're unaware of this other side of them. And so you kind of try to come to their aid, not knowing. Now she knows.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably the case.
Also, she's a Scientologist, and so was Danny Masterson, and so there's a lot of criticism for that as well, and you know, just sort of aligning with them and the cover-up that goes along with it.
That's true. That's true. I did not know that aspect.
Selena Gomez, well, she just became something a little rare. She's a billionaire now.
Oh,
the Rare Beauty founder is now a billionaire on the Bloomberg Billionaire Index.
Wow.
With an estimated $1.3 billion fortune after the success of her Rare Beauty brand. The actress and singer has amassed her riches as one of the youngest billionaires in Hollywood after a storybook career, beginning with her breakout star turn on Disney Channel's The Wizards of Waverly Place. She also amassed wealth as the world's 3rd most followed person on Instagram, behind a pair of legendary pro soccer players, because Cristiano Ronaldo has 639 million followers, and Lionel Messi has 505 million Instagram followers. She has 424 million followers. She also has a slew of popular TV and film projects. She created now canceled Max cooking show, Selena and Chef, and stars alongside, of course, Martin Short and Steve Martin on Only Murders in the Building. She's also set to executive produce and reboot her breakthrough show, Wizards. The original Rare Beauty line was inspired by her time sitting in a makeup chair for her various career projects. 1% of all sales from that line and all funds raised from partners go to the Rare Impact Fund, which has a goal to raise $100 million over the next 10 years to help address the gaps in mental health services for underserved communities.
Listen, I would be happy with $900 million.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't need to be.
I need to get into
I don't need to be in the billionaire club. $900 million gets it done
That'll
for me.
do it.
Yeah.
I'd even take $750.
$750 million.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to be happy, but I'll put up with it.
I had no idea it did that well.
Yeah, so apparently it's now whether that means she can
in her pocket
liquid assets 1.3 billion, probably not. But I don't know how all that stuff works out.
Her financial advisor is Stallone, so he says it's like $1 billion, but it is not technically. Yeah,
that's all you need to know. This is like $1 billion. All right, so anyhow, enjoy your on your way into work this morning. Kathy Bates has announced that she is retiring from acting, revealing that her role in the upcoming Matlock reboot will be her final performance. In an interview with the New York Times, Bates, who is 75 now, shared that she had planned to quit acting after a negative experience on a recent film set, but changed her mind after receiving the Matlock script and falling in love with the character.
You don't say no to Matlock.
Despite her passion for the project, she confirmed this is her last dance with no intention of taking on future roles, citing the physical toll of her 18-episode commitment. She's had a storied career starring in iconic films like Titanic and The Blind Side, winning an Oscar for her role in Misery.
He didn't get out of the cock-a-doodie car!
Though she has a little more left to give, fans are encouraged to savor her final performances. Matlock premieres Sunday, September 22nd on CBS.
I'd like to see a prequel sitcom with that character.
What?
From Misery.
Oh, Annie Wilkes. Or was that her name?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun? Kylie
Just
Jenner.
doing the cock-a-doodie housework.
Kylie Jenner is making headlines again for reuniting with her former BFF, Jordan Woods.
Excited by this.
The pair, plus Stassi Karana Kalua.
Is that the chick from Vanderpump?
I don't know.
Stasi?
Stasi? Stacey? I don't really know.
Care for her very much.
Shot some. I thought you didn't. I thought you hated that show.
Remember, I watched 1.5 episodes.
I stopped reporting on that because
did you
got
become
so pissy about it.
Pumper in the meantime?
No. This goes way back to my initial why are we even talking about this?
All right.
And I gave it an episode and a half. And I was like, but here's the thing.
Stasi, you hated immediately.
I didn't want to watch the show because I didn't want to feel that way about other human beings.
Right.
I didn't feel like I don't feel like I have the room to judge anybody. And as I was watching this show, I was casting all sorts of judgments about these people. And I'm like, you know what? I don't need.
You want to think better of humanity.
Well, I don't want to be that person.
All right.
You know?
So they all shot some cheeky TikToks in lip syncing to a clip of Jenner's big sis Kim Kardashian from the show, The Kardashians, and to a song by Ariana Grande. First time that we've seen the duo hanging out since July 2023.
It rocked my world when I saw the footage.
Sure
I dropped to my knees and screamed, hallelujah, finally.
Kardashian fans haven't forgotten why Woods was left out of the picture in the first place, though. Yeah, she was allegedly caught cheating with Tristan Thompson. Who just so happened to be Khloe Kardashian's then boyfriend. And blah, 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 blah.
Did you kiss him? That's what I need to know.
So that's, I don't know why they're hanging out again, but who knows. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce stepped out for a swanky wedding between model Karen Elson and Lee Foster at Electric Lady Studios in Manhattan on Saturday night.
You know what? They make a smart-looking couple, Kathy. Do you see them together?
Yes.
They do. And I'm glad that he had that haircut redone, because he had in the initial version of the haircut that he's now sporting, he looked like Mo Howard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was not good.
I saw a funny headline from The Onion over the weekend. It said, Taylor Swift disappointed to find out that football season happens every year. They arrived to crowds gathered behind metal barricades, trying to catch a glimpse of their favorite couple, but Kelce kept his superstar girlfriend safe as he guided her to and from their SUV outside the studio.
They come out of there's footage of them coming out of a pizza place or something in Brooklyn. The flashing is so intense.
Yeah.
You would have thought it was the middle of the day. It was at night.
So funny.
So being each other's date to a wedding is a big step in the right direction for the couple, and it has fans wondering, when will they have their own big wedding day?
Of course.
After Taylor stole hearts at Travis's season opening game with the Chiefs.
Are you going to marry her?
The two, where did E.T. come from? The two have been inseparable.
Oh, they both love E.T.
And were spotted enjoying dinner at Lucali restaurant in Brooklyn.
You pay attention to body language, Kathy, right? You see the pictures, they're
she's always she's leaning on him, her head's on him. She's like, what? But you don't like that?
I do like that.
Oh.
I think that's it seems a little bit more indicative. There's a lot more there that to me reads like a comfortability that, I don't know. You read into it. It's because I want it so badly, because I'm such a Swiftie.
Yeah.
It's a year or so at this point, like that they've been instant official and whatnot. It started last season, right? During the NFL? Okay.
And I do like him. So I think, and besides, he's tall.
The season was already underway when they started.
I think the rumors had started, Preston. I don't remember exactly when, but I mean, we're less than a year probably.
We're coming up on a year.
Right.
If Preston hasn't said it as the entertainment reporter, I don't believe it.
Preston is Bible.
I am.
You need to be Preston official.
I am canon.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift canon.
Yes,
Preston Elliott.
Congratulations to Ashley Tisdale and hubby Christopher French on baby number 2. They welcomed a daughter, Emerson Clover French, on Friday.
Should have been Emerson Biggins.
I know. They're opening themselves up. Yes. They shared the news in a joint Insta of their hands intertwined with Emerson's and wrote, "How all three of us are obsessed with you." Ashley and Christopher are already parents to daughter Jupiter, who they welcomed in March of 2021.
My daughter Jupiter. And this is Uranus.
Why did you name me child Uranus?
I don't know.
So
I didn't know Ardmore was the country.
It's not.
Ardmore's a country? No, Andorra.
See, I can't get it right. I can't catch a break. Stupid Pope.
Well, it looks like, listen to this, Sean Penn has a new girlfriend.
I bet she's completely age appropriate. She's about a year or two off, right?
The 64-year-old star was photographed on Saturday in Madrid kissing young actress Valeria Nikov. The two appear to be having a steamy date.
Yeah, I'm looking at these pictures of them making out, and it reminds me of a dog licking peanut butter.
According to the PDA-filled pics. TMZ says that she is a Moldovan actress who is believed to be in her
Well, it's Moldavo.
in her 20s, but her exact age isn't known. But
course.
she's definitely way younger
What's
than
her
that.
name?
Her name is Valeria, Valeria Nikov, Nicov.
I've seen her listed as everything from 26 to the top age of 30. So
Okay.
he's 64.
He's 60
64.
freaking 4.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's young for sure.
But he's a young 64.
He's a young
really
64.
Yeah. Danica Patrick may have soft launched a new romance. She has shared a bunch of pics from Burning Man in Nevada, and among them 2 pics of her kissing a mystery man.
Ah.
No word just yet on who the unidentified man is or if they're actually official.
That's a mystery.
Fans were quick to take to the comments wishing her well on her new relationship.
I bet it's Jaleel White.
Wait. You think it's Jaleel White? Might be. I don't know. I haven't seen the pictures yet.
I saw footage of a guy who got to Burning Man. He just jumped out of a helicopter and parachuted into.
Oh, thank God for the parachute.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. One last story, and then we got to move on to clips because we have an early guest.
That's right, yes.
So a sequel to The Goonies has a green light.
What?
Nearly 40 years after its original release.
Is this the Adam Goldberg?
It does
project?
not say in this
Okay,
story.
all right.
The OG film was directed by Richard Donner, produced by Steven Spielberg, starred Sean Astin, Josh Brolin, Jeff Cohen, Corey Feldman, and Kehi Kwan. And word is that they all have to reprise their roles, right?
They can.
And what's his face? Corey Feldman's got to be. This, maybe this is the thing.
Yeah.
Maybe this is what Corey needs.
Snaps him the F out of it.
Get back into a movie, a real movie.
Has anybody? No one's passed away from the cast, right? Except for maybe the
Sloth
parental.
and and the Fratellis.
Yeah,
Fratellis.
Robert Davi's still around though.
And Joey Pants is still around.
What about the gal who played Andy? She had a real drug problem for a while.
No, she's fine. I think she's alive.
She's alive.
Yeah,
Okay.
But hopefully she can be in it too.
Mama is gone.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I'm not really
most
sure.
of them.
The movie, of course, followed a group of kids from Astoria, Oregon, who embark on a treasure hunt after finding a map in an old attic. The sequel is likely to be released in 26 or 27.
I didn't share this on air, but I got to go see the Goonies house this vacation. We went to Astoria, spent a few days there. It's really cool. And they're like, I'm not as big of a Goonies fan as Casey is, but I kind of got caught up in the nostalgia of all of it. You can actually leave a tip for it. People live there.
Yeah.
And it's a really neat thing to see. And they welcome visitors. You can't drive up. You have to park down the street and then walk up from there. But Astoria is an awesome town, and it was really cool to see that house.
That is awesome.
It's like the big Breaking Bad house, except they welcome people.
That's right. The Breaking Bad people do not welcome people at all. And also, Kindergarten Cop was shot in Astoria.
Was it?
Yeah. So right down the street from the Goonies house is the school where Arnold worked for Kindergarten Cop. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, we're ready to roll some clips now. The Deeds family is reunited in Beetlejuice, and we meet the newest member, Lydia's daughter, Astrid. And in this clip, Winona Ryder reveals why she believes it took so long to make this sequel.
Jenna is absolutely one of my favorite people. Truly, I feel like this movie, because we talked about it for so long, but it had to be perfect. And I realized we were waiting for her to be born and grow up. You know what I mean? She's like the perfect puzzle piece to add. She sort of completes it.
Beetlejuice is in theaters now. Next clip. Brothers Adam and Craig Malamut have created the latest series added to Fox's Sunday night animation, Domination. And here, the Cherry Hill natives share the premise for their show, Universal Basic Guys.
The show's about 2 brothers in South Jersey. I got the classic South. How you doing? I'm from South Jersey, more Kogies. How you doing? And
they lose their jobs to automation. They work at a hot dog factory, and the company that automated them away pays for a experimental pilot UBI program that they get $3,000 a month to spend on whatever they want, and they have to figure out how to find purpose in a world where they're no longer needed.
Yeah!
Universal Basic Guys debuted last night on Fox, and it is streaming today on Hulu. So some local
See, if I get those
fellas
guys on. I actually
doing
dismissed
well.
it because I didn't recognize it. And now they know that they're local guys. I'll give it a shot.
I think there's a bunch of Eagles jokes in there too. Like they talk about these guys being fans of the Birds and stuff. And you can hear the Philly accent when he's talking about hoagies.
Totally. All right, listen, we got to take a break. That's it in the entertainment report. Our good friend Robert Irvine is joining us. He's going to be in town for the birthday bash at the Phillies and also a few other things within our general area, the Ocean's Calling Music Festival and so on. So we'll chat with him in a sec or two. So stick around. We will be right back. All night last night.
I watched that scene live last night.
So wonderfully. Okay, so what do you think? Let's go, Joel. Brit or not a Brit?
I think he's a Brit. I think Duke isn't even his name because that's a very American name.
Okay.
I think he's a Brit. That's very good.
And Leah, what do you think?
I think not a Brit.
You think not a Brit? Duke, where are you from?
I'm from Manchester.
Joel got it right.
All right, so apparently Duke owns a barbershop called Blokes in Old City.
No kidding.
Very nice, Duke.
How long have you been in the States, Duke?
10 years.
10 years. Okay.
Wow.
Originally from Manchester. Were you a barber there as well, or is this a whole new life?
I was, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Nice.
I was a barber and a musician.
All right, and reading the info that you sent us, what other countries do you get mistaken that you are from?
Oh, I get Irish, Australian, Kiwi, South African, all sorts.
All of them, yeah, I believe it. And that's a common refrain, by the way. People are like, "Are you South African?"
Oh my God!
Yeah.
To me, Australian and Kiwi, so different, and I don't know.
Oh, you use bloke. You use the word bloke. You must be from Australia.
Right. All right, well, Duke, you did manage to stump Leah, so I think that's good for a prize.
Yeah, we'll hook you up with something.
All right, hang on a second, Duke. Thank you very much, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Marissa, do I need to keep him on hold, or will we contact him?
We'll contact him.
We'll contact him. All right.
It was funny because my friend is Helen.
Duke
She's
go.
from Manchester,
Yeah.
and when he was saying a couple of things, I was like, "Oh my God, that's!" And I was with her last night. I was like, "That's exactly how she sounds." So maybe I can pick out a Manchester accent.
All right, let's go with another caller. We have Peter on the line. Good morning, Peter.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. All right, so we have Joel and Leah here. We're playing Brit or not a Brit. Could you give us the line, please?
I will do. Commodities are agricultural products, like coffee that you had for breakfast, wheat, which is used to make bread, pork bellies, which is used to make bacon, which you might find in a bacon and lettuce and tomato sandwich.
Yeah, definitely a Brit.
Definitely a Brit.
All right, you guys both say Brit?
Brit.
Yeah.
Where? Where's he
Right.
from?
Well, hang on.
Yeah.
Peter, well, yeah, if you were to narrow it down and you think it's legit, where would you say Peter's from?
I don't think he's from the South.
Can you say
Okay.
a couple more words, please? Just a few more.
Just say a few more words, Peter, if you would.
Well, what sort of words would you like me to say?
Yeah,
All
you
right.
did it.
Okay.
Philadelphia, London.
Should we go?
I think Midlands,
So
like Leah.
Midlands.
Where are you from, Peter?
Well, that's pretty clever because I was born in a city called Leicester, which is in the Midlands.
Wow.
You got the Midlands. You got the whole
done.
thing.
And how long
But
have
I
you
spent most of my life in London.
All right. And how long have you been in the States?
40 years.
40 years.
Wow.
Good for you, man.
You still sound like that?
Yeah, that has not faded whatsoever.
No.
All right. Well, thank you for playing, Peter. Unfortunately, you didn't stump these guys, but we appreciate you calling in and thank you for listening to the show.
It's like
Thank you. That
All
was
right.
fun.
Take care, Peter.
normally an accent would go away. That's why the hilarity of having Scotty on Star Trek had that complete.
Yeah, I had when I was a kid, I had a very thick Southern accent.
Right.
I lived in the South growing up, and my parents speak with a Southern accent, but I shook it along the line.
By the way, that was Ralph Bellamy as Randolph Duke in Trading Places.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you
you
for
very
the
much.
lines, yes.
Yep. All right, let's get another caller. We have William on. Hi, William. Good morning.
Morning.
All right, William, we are playing Brit or not a Brit, and Joel and Leah want to hear your accent, so give us the line, please.
What? Are you kidding? Sundays? I love Sundays. I live for Sundays. The whole family's together. Mum makes brioche. Dad puts the jersey on. We're all watching the game. Yes, it drives me crazy. And yes, I was negative. You didn't even know that I loved it, Nikki, but I did. I just didn't appreciate it or you before.
Okay.
The thing is, he could be a Brit. He could be a performer. He could be performing right now.
Okay, but what do you think if you had to?
My initial instinct was pretend, not a Brit.
Yes, I don't think he's a Brit, but that was a very good attempt.
When he said brioche, I died.
Yeah.
All right. William, where are you from?
Yeah, that's not even fair. That was spot on.
Oh, he's from Delco.
He's from Delco. All right, William, they found you out, but thanks, man. We appreciate it, buddy. All right, let's see.
That's pretty. Yeah. You know, it's funny because all you have to do in many cases is convince people here. And so, you know, the hard part, that's why when you do pass muster, when a Kate Winslet pulls off something as mechanically difficult as a sub-accent, sub-dialect here, it's an amazing thing.
So the way he said yo, he said yo. That's how you say it in Delaware County, in Delco. Yo.
But you can, so far, you can hear them trying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the Brits are just natural. And
That's why, like when Meryl Streep pulled off the Polish accent in Sophie's Choice, you'll have dialogue and dialect coaches on set.
Right.
That's how hard it is.
And by the way, you should visit some of the places that are named for English cities. Like you should definitely go to Chester and Camden and Kensington. No,
you won't like it.
You won't make
Those
it
are like
home.
the high crime
Really?
areas.
Yeah.
That was that was a movie set in Delco. That was Silver Linings Playbook and Bradley Cooper's character.
Thank you, Nick, for the clarification. All right, we have another caller on the line. It is Susan. Good morning, Susan.
Good morning.
Okay, Susan, we have Joel and Leah here determining Brit or not a Brit. Could you please read what we sent to you?
When you were making me, didn't you feel a certain inspiration? Almost like your hands were moved by force not of this world. You made this body so that I could come to life.
Okay.
The accent was good, but the intonation was all off, wasn't it? What do you think,
Yeah,
Joel?
I don't know. I thought that was that's really hard to tell because I think it could just be that she's reading a quote that made it sound slightly off.
Do you
But
want her to
still
say
really
brioche?
Just say brioche. No.
All right, Joel, we're going to ask you.
No, you know what? I'm going to take a risk. Say she's a Brit.
She's a Brit.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay,
and what do you
let's say
think? Leah?
Brit then.
She says Brit. All right, Susan, where are you from?
I'm from Philly, baby.
I think they really knew.
I think I know. It's just like,
You really knew. But that means Susan is a winner. So, Susan, we're going to get in touch with you and set you up with a prize, okay?
Sounds great. Thank you. This is so fun.
All right,
very
thanks
cool.
for playing along.
Very cool.
All right,
You guys know what movie that was?
Is that Mannequin?
It is Mannequin. Kim Cattrall and Mannequin. You guys ever see Mannequin? There's Kim Cattrall, the actress from Sex and the City. She's a mannequin in a store in Philadelphia. She comes to life, and
It's a true story.
Yeah, it's a true story. Yes, right. It's a documentary, really.
That's why Kim Cattrall looks so plastic now.
oh gosh, you guys.
All right, let's get our next caller. We have Chris. By the way, we have like a dozen of these to do.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
Hi, Chris. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
All right, Chris, we are going to get...
See, they already got a taste.
We're gonna need to have you deliver the line. Could you go for it, please?
Now that we know who you are, I know who I am. I'm not a mistake. It all makes sense. In a comic, you know who you can tell who the arch villain's going to be? He's the exact opposite of the hero. Most of the times, they're friends, like you and me. I should have known way back when. You know why, David? Because of the kids. They called me Mr. Glass.
Mr. Glass. All right. What do you think? Leah, let's go with you.
I was going to say Brit from maybe like the south, maybe somewhere near Essex.
Okay.
Yeah,
what
I
do you
think like
think?
could be a Londoner even.
Londoner.
I think definitely Brit.
Yeah,
Definitely
But
Brit.
then he said glass at the end instead of glass.
Did he?
I was like, wait, what? You've thrown me off the scent.
I heard
Northern
Gloss.
Gloss. I heard,
Gloss.
Gloss.
Oh, gloss. It was the word gloss on the screen.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah,
No. It was the word
it's
glass,
glass.
but
Oh, right.
to our ears, we heard him say gloss.
Yeah.
Might be,
I
yeah.
think I heard Glass. I think he's definitely a Brit.
I think me too, yeah.
All right, both of them say a Brit. And Chris, where are you from?
I am a Brit from Hatfield, Hertfordshire.
Yeah, North
Did you get it
London.
right?
Yeah, well, no, I was wrong, but yeah, London, kind of Londonish.
And where do you call home now, Chris?
Chester County, down in town.
All right, how long have you been in the States?
18 years.
18 years.
Wow.
And the
nice,
fact
man.
that they still retain a substantial part of that, it's pretty amazing.
Except for when saying glass.
So that's because he's lived here then.
Yeah.
So that bit's come out.
Yeah.
So we had and we had this guy as a guest on the show a couple times. Louis Knight.
Yes.
He was a contestant on American Idol.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, but he is like the only English person that I have ever heard sing with an English accent.
Oh, it's adorable.
Yeah.
All right,
Can you do an impression of it?
Chris,
It's
thanks
a
for,
lovely bunch of coconuts.
Chris, thanks for playing, man. We appreciate it.
Hey, thanks.
All right, take care. All right, so you guys are doing pretty good.
Yeah,
Doing pretty
I think
good.
they're
You've
doing
only
damn
missed a
good,
couple
yeah.
of them. All right. Let's get another caller on the line. Oh, what movie was that? from?
Unbreakable.
That was
Samuel L.
Unbreakable.
Jackson.
Yes, thank you. I knew it
Mr.
was-
Glass.
I don't know why I couldn't remember the name of the movie, but it's an M. Night Shyamalan classic. All right. We have Steven. Hi, Steven.
Morning.
Morning. All right, Steven, we have a... They're like immediately making their decisions when people say good morning. All right, Steven, do us a favor and read the line we sent you.
Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place. It'll beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody's going to hit as hard as life, but it ain't how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, then go out and get what you're worth. But you got to be willing to take the hit and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you are because of him, her, or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
Right. Did it
Yeah,
start
better
off?
than that.
It started off like Scouse, then it went Scottish. It was like Liverpool, Scottish.
Do you know what? His Scottish accent is better than mine.
Yeah.
So if you're to say Brit or not a Brit, what do you think, Joel?
I'll go not a Brit.
Yeah.
Not a Brit.
No,
All right.
sorry.
Stephen, where are you from? Tickets for the just announced and already sold out Linkin Park concert, and it is this Monday. A quick turnaround, 1 week from today at Barclays Center in Brooklyn. But that's a pretty sweet deal. I mean, it's sold out like that, and we have your chance to win 4 tickets, and all you have to do is hang around because we'll get the letter of the day at the end of the program for the Word of the Week prize. So love to set you up with that. Marissa's talking to Robert Irvine as we speak. We're going to have him on in just a second here via Zoom. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do a shout out real quick because is it after 7? No.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I know. I needed it to be before 7. This is from a teacher who's like, oh, by the way, I'm at work by 7. So if you could do this before 7, it'd be great. I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, all right.
I'll try to do it
Very
tomorrow.
accommodating of
Actually, no. Well, it's a nice one, and I want to make sure that they do indeed hear it. We have a chance. All right, Marissa, we ready or not?
He's giving you the old
index
middle finger.
No, it's the index finger. I know you can kind of see it out
It's
the
hard,
corner of
yeah,
your eye,
yeah,
and
it
it did look like she was flipping us off,
like
but no, it was
F-U.
just her actual index finger. So, all right, he is ready to go, and is today his birthday?
No, but we're celebrating his birthday at the end of the month, and that's what he's promoting.
Excellent. The birthday bash at the Phillies.
it's true.
That's why
Yeah.
it's taking place. Please welcome our good friend, Mr. Robert Irvine. Once again. Good morning, sir.
What's up, guys?
Nice to see you, bud. So you got a birthday coming up, and you're spending it with the Phillies?
Yeah, I'm getting old. What's about that? 59 years old on the 24th. I feel like I'm like 20.
Well,
I'm getting
that's good.
older.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's great. Yeah, absolutely. You look great. I mean, you're lit well. It looks like, I mean, I'm going to be honest. It looks like you're wearing TV makeup, are you? Or you just have just glorious skin?
Hey, this is au natural. buddy.
Really? Well, then you must tell me what kind of
This is getting up at 5 in the morning and drinking black tea does for you.
Am I nuts? Look at the
No,
skin.
I know.
It looks
We
like
need
you
to-
look pretty amazing.
We need to know the skincare routine.
Yeah.
Or it's probably just what he's
Wait,
eating.
Robert Irvine, you're beautiful.
All right, listen, we're gonna come out with a Robert Irvine line of Steve's makeup.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not?
You know what I'll do? I'll travel with you as the before picture, and then you can have.
I mean, there is not like a market right now or an open market for male makeup.
Makeup or
male makeup.
Oh, okay.
Or
Listen, you can't have crock pots and makeup.
Well, I'm so glad you're the one who brought that up, Robert, because listen, I haven't forgotten about the crock pot. In fact, I still love the crock pot very much.
That wound is still bleeding.
But I have fallen in love with the air fryer. I cannot
good
get
man.
enough of the
I'm
air fryer.
liking you now.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So the air fryer, you're cool with, Robert.
I love the air fryer.
Okay.
And I'm just getting better
going to get
at
him into sous vide and the air fryer, and then he's top. He's there.
Okay.
What was it? Sous vide? What is that?
Sous vide.
I don't know what that is.
It's cooking. It's cooking in a bag under pressure
in water.
It's really cool. Like a propeller in a basket of a body of water, and you jump it in and let it cook. You can never overcook stuff.
Right.
Okay.
It's always perfect. It's amazing.
So what would be the prime dishes one would prepare with sous vide?
You could do filet, you could do scrambled eggs, you can do poached eggs, you can do boiled eggs,
Really?
you can do chicken, you can do shrimp, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna buy each one of you a machine and send it there
Great.
with a book.
All right. And then my reciprocal promise is I will do your makeup for the Ocean's Calling.
If this was makeup, I couldn't do that.
Oh, no, I know. Yeah, no.
Robert, how do you
Don't hate the beauty, man. Come on.
Robert, how do you feel about cooking in tinfoil?
In tinfoil?
Yeah. I've read conflicting reviews on it.
Kathy wears tinfoil when she cooks.
Yeah.
So, no. You using Reynolds wrap to cook stuff in is what yeah.
Yeah, tinfoil.
I love it. I cook ribs in plastic wrap in the oven, and people think I'm nuts. 275 degree, wrap the plastic wrap around, season the ribs, wrap it, do it for 4 hours, take it out, let it sit. Take the plastic wrap off, slap on your barbecue sauce on the grill. It'll be the best ribs you ever taste in your life.
But wait a minute, Kathy, have you been, dare I say, cooking lately?
Oh, no, it's not me.
Not you.
I'm
Yeah,
just
of course
asking
not.
about
see?
Oh. I've become a parchment paper junkie.
Yeah. Parchment paper.
I cook exclusively on parchment.
Great
now,
in the air
man.
fryer, Preston.
I love it.
So who's sponsoring you right now for parchment paper? You get a sponsorship there, dude.
I need to get one, but
By Reynolds?
yeah, probably Reynolds.
He was just dropped by his cosmetics company.
Yeah. By the way, Crockpots and Makeup will be Casey's autobiography. That's the name.
Hey, listen. I'll take your makeup sponsorship, and I'll find you a parchment paper sponsorship.
There you go. Preston parchment paper. Talk about the alliteration there.
Robert, how often do you cook, by the way?
Jesus, we just came back from Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania a couple of weeks cooking for the troops and all those. We've just put new bases, and I'm helping the military modernize its feeding platform. So a lot.
Man, listen, Robert, what countries have you not visited? There has to be like a very small amount of places in the world you have not been.
Oh, my God, I couldn't even answer that.
Yeah.
I mean, we were in Djibouti. We've been to, there's not a place I don't think, have we been anywhere? No. Justin's to the side of me. He's like, nope, we've been everywhere.
Have you been to Antarctica?
No, yes, absolutely we have.
Okay.
We have. And Greenland. And it's so funny because Greenland, we went to a place, they've now changed the name, which I don't like. But anyway, it used to be called Thule, Thule. And we did there's only 400 folks there. But what makes it important is there's 3 satellites that track incoming things. So it's basically between Russia and halfway between Russia and New York City, we have these satellites. Perpetual darkness, 34 degrees below. But we had a lot of fun.
So it's kind of like a monitoring station?
Yeah. There's 400 scientists and some special people there.
Some special people. Wow. Yeah.
Have you been to Ocean City, Maryland before, Robert?
Oh, yeah. I'm going there. Ocean's Calling's coming up this year again, baby.
Yeah, I'm going to that as well. I'm really excited for this festival. It's
Dude, we're going to hang, right?
The end of the month. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I was chatting with Justin not that long ago, your buddy, and the Killers on Saturday night, the Beach Boys, Offspring, who were doing the Barbecue the week before, Dave Matthews Band on Sunday, Mount Joy is one of my favorite bands. They're local to Philadelphia. Counting Crows. Crazy. It's going to be an awesome. And so are you there all 3 nights?
Last year, we decided to walk with the band OAR around the boardwalk, buying everybody French fries and kids cuddly toys. It was hilarious. 100,000 people, dude. It's
100,000.
So chain, it's amazing.
No, it's an amazing lineup from Larkin Poe. You have
Blink 182 for crying out loud.
Yeah,
Beach
Blues
Boys.
Traveler, Lisa Loeb.
Yeah,
that's a callback. Bare Naked Ladies. And so to answer your question, you said you're there for all 3 days, Robert?
Yeah, and then on that Sunday morning, C3. and all the bands. We feed all the local first responders, the police officers, firefighters, EMTs, that take care of that 100,000 people. We feed them in the morning to say thank you, and it's absolutely amazing. It's just, I was at Red Rocks with OAR a couple of weeks ago feeding our military, and they were doing great things for us. Ocean City is probably, for me, the best ever. It's like they enclose a whole Ocean City with tents and wire, and you're stuck in there eating and drinking. So there's a stage at one end, you listen to music, culinary stage in the middle, then you turn around to this stage, and it's just, I drink a lot of tequila there.
So multiple stages are going simultaneously?
Yeah, it's amazing. Okay. I got to tell you, it's one of the most well-run. I think they had one arrest last year, and they let him go because he was such a gentleman about it.
And his makeup was so perfect.
Yeah. It was Robert Irvine. He was arrested in makeup.
Well, that's not till the 27th to the 29th, but we did want to mention the event coming up with the Phils, and that's on September 24th, your birthday bash. Robert, I ran into a couple who saw you the last time you did this at the Phillies game. They said they had mentioned our show to you, and you guys had a great conversation, but they had a ball. They said the food was great. Really good way to lead into the game. Same type of setup this time around? You guys are going to be meeting fans ahead of time?
200 of my closest friends. We'll have breakfast, we'll have food, or lunch, not breakfast. We got some beer and wine and all you can eat, and then we do the game. Crook's going to join us again just to be... Listen, he had a bigger lineup than me. He's a legend.
He is.
Locally, yeah. Absolutely.
And he's actually calling the game that night. So he'll be there having a fun and busting my chops like he always does. And, all the money goes to charity. And it's going to be a lot of fun.
So those tickets are on sale. I guess you can go to chefirvine.com to get the information to buy in on that, or go to phillies.com.
No, you actually go to phillies.com/Robert Irvine Foundation. And our great partners, Ferguson, Jennifer, are underwriting the whole thing. So we're going to make a great amount of money for our foundation to make sure that we can take care of those men and women that wear the cloth foundation, our first responders. And again, then we can, I can drop you a little something for Camp Out for Hunger. Don't ask me to do some jump from a rappeller or
No. Yeah, it'd be good to have you at Camp Out for Hunger if you can.
Absolutely. I mean, what you guys do is something really special. It's become an annual thing, and I love doing it. Being around you guys and busting chops, it's great.
Love it. Absolutely.
I won't make makeup though.
Yes,
you will. Yes, you will. Yeah. Yeah, we should do a special makeup tutorial.
Here's what we need to do. This is what you can do, Robert. You're going to come as Robert Smith from The Cure. I'd love to see. Imagine a jacked Robert Smith. That'd be hilarious.
Before then, I'm going to get you all a sous vide machine. Oh, come on. I got to put lipstick on like that?
Yes.
Dude,
Smeared lipstick.
I need to plump them up a bit. I need some breast.
We'll get you.
Justin's showing me pictures of hair and all this.
There we go.
Yeah. That's Robert Smith. I love it. Yep. We should do that.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Oh, my God.
Awesome.
Excellent. All right. Well, listen, man, we'll spread the word about both of these things that are coming up. But obviously, the Phillies, that's going to be a lot of fun. You in town. And you go to phillies.com/Robert Irvine to get your tickets. It's great because Robert does the menu. You hang out with Crucker. And then, obviously, go to the game. It's going to be a blast. They're playing the Cubs that day. Games at 6:40. And tickets available in the arcade sections. So it's all good. It's a great event.
And everything you do.
It's the last game. It's the last game of the
regular season.
All right. So.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Well, last home stand, yeah.
I was just going to say that, you work a lot, you do a lot of things, but everything you do is attached to some charity. And so we appreciate what you do all the time.
Well, today we're here in Pennsylvania, Erie, Pennsylvania. We've got a golf tournament, a dinner. Then tomorrow we have a concert with Michael Franti for the whole town of Erie. And we're going to feed them all. It's going to be kind of fun.
Wow.
Right?
Nice.
And John Popper. Yeah.
John Popper.
Badass. Excellent.
Yeah.
Always doing great things, Robert. We love you. It's great to catch up with you.
Love you back.
We'll
Appreciate
see you soon. You got it.
Guess what?
What?
I'm sending you all a sous vide thing.
I want that sous vide.
And a do-it-yourself makeup pack.
2 things, sous vide and makeup kit.
You're the best. All right, thank you, Robert Irvine. We love you, man. See you, bud. Oh, my God.
I'm interested in that.
The sous vide?
Yeah.
It's awesome. We actually have it.
It's sous vide?
Sous vide, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's essentially you put let's say your protein, a piece of chicken in this bag. It's airtight sealed, and then you put it in this warm water. It's not super hot water.
Right.
It's just warm water. Cooks very, very slowly. Comes out insanely tender.
Wow.
It's a very interesting,
intriguing
way to cook. There's a lot involved in doing it, but the end result is wonderful.
Yeah.
And Kath, you can't burn it. There's a lot. Yeah, but you'll be fine.
Okay.
You'll absolutely be fine.
I'm going to have to tap out on that.
Couple other things to talk about since we're talking about a world traveling guy, Robert Irvine. Marisa just got back from Brazil. And we were going to get a little recap. You going to come in here, Marisa? I know she's just signing off with Robert in the other room. And then we got to hear Nick was at the Pearl Jam show.
Yeah, show
on
1.
Saturday as well. And then back again tonight. So I want to hear some of that stuff. But a little recappage. But it was Brazil with PhillySportsTrips.com. Marisa got a nice little week-long working vacation, I guess you might call it, or something like that, because there was work involved, but there was also a lot of enjoyment involved.
Oh my God, guys. It was so much fun. Casey, it felt like I imagine what it was like on the road. Like you guys had so much fun on that road trip, but there was also so much to do.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, mine was a lot different. I sat in a car for 12 hours a day, but I did get to see a lot of the whole country. So that was cool.
And you had green muchachos and salad bowls.
That's right.
There was so much traveling while we were in Brazil because everything is so far away.
Yeah.
That's why I compared it to it, because we were in cars so often. Cars, tram cars, trains, buses, because we were staying like an hour plus away from the stadium. So getting there was a journey.
So yeah, we got the day-to-day from you last week, but what we didn't get was what happened on Friday.
Yeah.
Because that was the last chance to speak with you, and then you had that, and then left the next day.
So I was literally just hitting publish on some photos on PrestonandSteve.com from Friday. Guys, all week long, I kept saying that there were no Packers fans. It's because all the Packers fans are locals.
Oh,
like
no
when
kidding.
I got to the stadium, when Matt and I got to the stadium, it was 80% Packers fans.
Wow,
but
because
they
you were
all
saying
locals.
all you had identified in the entire time leading up was one Packers fan, and you had posited the notion that perhaps they were all there already. So it turns out that was the case. So you're saying it was 80% Packers fans to 20%?
Okay, so I was saying along the way that it was maybe like 80-20 Eagles fans who had traveled in that I was seeing in Rio and all around there in the kind of like vacationing area. When we got to the stadium, it was probably 70-30 Packers fans.
Because it didn't look like that on TV. You could see a lot of Eagles fans.
Okay, so I
mean, you definitely saw the Packers fans for sure, but we definitely saw the Eagles fans.
So interesting. I wonder if it's just the way that they showed fans or whatever. I actually posted this photo. It was the Packers' first scoring drive. I looked to my right, which was the Packers' sideline, and just the way I could tell was all I could see was arms in the air and skin. And I was like, that is an entire side of the stadium cheering for this team that just scored. That's not my team. Like, it was so many Packers fans.
I was thinking about the whole thing leading up to it, and for the days you were, checking in with us, so I'm like, Casey always recounts the story of being down in Florida for, an Eagles loss, right?
Oh yeah.
And having to take the trip back.
Ugh.
Now, not that this was the Super Bowl, but when you have this big sort of brouhaha over this trip and this game, that trip back would have been kind of super sucky, but it didn't turn out that way.
No, we lucked out. And Steve also getting on a bus at 2:00 in the morning to go back to your hotel.
Yeah.
Thank God it was after a win.
Yeah.
And it wasn't after a loss, because that travel there. I mean, we got back. There was no food. We had at least, there were some vendors outside of the arena selling beers and all. So we all grabbed a drink for the bus.
Yeah,
Preston, it was like all we had. We were like, these are the only calories we can get right now besides the snack machine at the hotel. But it was just so much fun. And it almost felt like it wasn't a game for American football fans.
How so?
walking into the stadium, I mean, we were in the minority. It was locals. It was Corinthians fans. It was local Brazilians. They had been selling tickets, we found out later, like specifically for age groups. Like these tickets are intended for children. These tickets are intended for elderly people. So they were really targeting locals to come out to this game. And so when I was saying that, like, you know, we weren't seeing these people around, they were just at work all day. And this was just a Friday night game for them. So,
how was the tailgate? Was that all Philly, or did it happen?
So Philly Sports Trips had a party at the hotel that we had stayed at. Matt and I had another friend who had field passes, so we decided to go with them early to the game and find just like a bar local nearby, which is exactly what we did. There was like a little strip of bars that had, you know, it's just kind of like outdoor seating. They just kind of like open up as like a small strip of maybe like 2 blocks long. So we were just kind of popping in and out of there. PBR was there.
Really?
Pabst Blue Ribbon had set up a big blow up, and they were handing out free beers as like America's beer, quote unquote.
America's beer. Here we go.
How did you get there?
They don't know.
The game started at 9:30. I think we got there around 5:30.
Okay.
6 o'clock.
So what's your like overall impression, Marissa? Can you compare and contrast Rio versus Sao Paulo? Because I don't know anything about them other than what I've seen on TV or in movies or whatever. Of Rio, I don't really know much about Sao Paulo at all.
So it was said to me at the very beginning, and I couldn't picture the difference. Somebody said Sao Paulo is New York and Rio is LA. And I kind of was like, all right, those are 2 cities. I don't get it. But like Rio is a beach area. Like everybody there is living on island time. It is Saturday every day. Whereas Sao Paulo is just more of a metropolitan city.
Okay.
There was a lot more, it was a lot denser. There's a lot more people. I'm sure you guys heard the stats where like Sao Paulo as a larger state has like 22 million people. And the area where the stadium is like 13 million people.
13 million people.
Yeah.
It's heavy duty. Heavy duty, yeah.
So I was talking about
And
like,
that's, you said over 2 blocks.
yeah, just in those 2 blocks, and really high rises, Steve, like really
It's
high
like
rises.
Ready Player One, Preston.
No, but it was cool. And then we just started talking to people around. I mean, and I can't reiterate this enough. Even yesterday, people were asking, you know, did you feel safe? Brazil, it is safe. It is a safe country. Everybody is welcome there. It's just like any city. You're not going to go and put yourself in a bad predicament because that is where things happen. But it's a city that you're traveling to.
Well, yeah. Anytime you get millions and millions of people together, you're going to have some spots that are going to be dangerous. I mean, yeah, sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we started talking to people. I met a guy who was in an Eagles jersey, and I was like, hey, can you tell me how you became an Eagles fan? He's like, I would love to. In 2005, I watched Invincible. Vince Papale, Mark Wahlberg. I'm an Eagles fan now.
And this was a local?
This was a local.
Wow.
So then after meeting that guy, we actually talked to him a little bit longer, and he was saying that Brazilians love winners. So there's so many Packers jerseys. There's a lot of Patriots jerseys. There's a lot of 49ers jerseys. Just like those big teams. It reminds me of like when you go other places and they're like, oh, America's team. We're all Cowboys fans.
Right.
And then later on, we were meeting people, a guy in a Saints jersey. And I was like, how'd you become a Saints fan? He said, my sister or cousin was interning in New Orleans during Katrina. And she brought me back a jersey, and I've been a fan since.
Kidding.
So it was a lot of
Isn't
that.
it funny how those things that you attach to that will predict your fandom for years to come?
Yeah, and then when we were getting in there, it almost felt like everybody who wasn't wearing a Packers jersey was then cheering for the Eagles. So it was funny, like there's
We're the
two,
default.
Yeah, there was 2 Patriots fans in front of us cheering for the Eagles, and I was like, this is so cool.
Hey, how did the Eagles uniforms look in person? It was really tough to sort of get. Like with the naked eye, I feel like he could see things a lot better than what we were seeing on TV.
Casey, I was in the end zone when Saquon scored twice, and just seeing that white jersey cross the line, I was like, this is a beautiful thing.
But like even the helmets looked green. You know what I mean?
Okay. I may have been a little too far away to tell that.
Okay.
Then. I know I didn't take in consideration that much.
So overall, the experience getting in it, because they had made mention of the fact that the stadium itself was a not super state of the art.
Yeah, so the stadium holds less than 50,000 people. For contrast, the Link holds 70,000. And in my observations of saying this was not necessarily, this was a game more for locals. There wasn't many people around to translate, to tell you where to go as an American. Trying to get concessions. Trying to get concessions was a little tough. We didn't know that you have to like buy a ticket to then buy the concession.
You have to buy a ticket purchasing, a concession purchasing ticket.
Yes.
Wow, that's wild.
Wait, so you couldn't get anything in there?
So we were in one line. We were waiting for a beer. And a gentleman came by kind of like Chick-fil-A to get our order ahead of time. So we're standing there and we couldn't speak to each other. There was a language barrier. So he just kind of moved on to the next person. And the person in front of him was like, hey, you guys can't buy beer until halftime if you don't have a ticket. And we kind of stood there. We're like, do we trust this guy? Like in front of us? We don't know. And then we ended up just walking over to the guys who just had the barrels, who were like getting the beer from the back because we could get them from those guys who were walking around, the vendors.
Vendors. What kind of what kind of food were they serving?
Well, first off, beer, only Budweiser. Bud Heavy is the only thing available inside, which is great, and they're just pouring that. Preston, the vendors who are walking around they have like baskets, like a basket that you would have towels in your bathroom. They're carrying around with that.
So
and
you're
just
eating towels?
It just had like chips and snacks.
Oh, okay.
Because here we get hot dogs and things like that.
And then there were other vendor concession areas that had like, I think, popcorn, pizza, and like chicken fingers.
So
pretty much all that was available.
Standard stuff.
Really basic, very chill.
Any Brazilian dishes?
I think like the chicken fingers that they were offering were like a local fare
when you think of
Brazil,
you think chicken fingers.
Yeah. And that was it. And it was kind of just like basic and chill. And like it wasn't about the concessions.
Right.
I feel like in America, we're all leaving constantly. Every quarter you run out and you get some more food. And people weren't really leaving their seats that much to get stuff.
It's what the stadiums and the venues boast about, what kind of food they serve. And the that whole presentation is an essential part of the experience. They don't really care that much down there.
I mean, and there were some funny moments. Like as soon as we walked into our seats, literally our chair fell out of the concrete.
Oh my God.
There are bolts in the concrete at the bottom where it is. We kind of sat down on it and it just fell over.
Oh, what'd you do?
So the people around us knew that we were American. So they kind of helped translate and talk to the usher. Like the head usher of our area came over and he showed us his phone. He's like, look, I wrote a report. I entered it in and I sent it. And we were like, look, it looks like we're going to be standing the whole game anyway. So we're fine. And it was fine.
You stood the whole game?
You stood the whole game?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And it was just like little things like that. How about the irony here? I walk into the section. So Philly Sports Trips, our tickets were kind of spread out around. I mean, there's over 100 people, so you're not going to get 100 seats altogether. We walked down to our section. We were like row O. I'm, pushing through. I go, excuse me. And I look up. I knew the girl next to me that I was sitting with.
Stop it.
My friend Lauren, who works in the city. I just happened to know her.
What are the friggin' odds?
Did you know she was going to the game?
No idea.
Oh, that's
no
hilarious.
idea.
What are you doing here?
I came for the chicken fingers.
Well, Steve.
Way.
Steve, didn't you run into like your plumber or something?
Yeah.
I mean, it's Clearwater. It's not Sao Paulo.
I know, but still, you're walking around it, and people that live on my block are walking around.
Just think about how like you feel when you run into somebody at a game here in the city. You're like, oh my God,
what are you doing?
So there were some other really cool moments. And again, some like just differences in the culture. Like they were starting the wave at one point, like during the middle of a drive. And the wave kept going and happening as the drive was happening. Like you would think, it happens during the break. Maybe there's a TV timeout.
So that's a Brazilian wave.
And it's a Brazilian wave, Steve. Just keep going. And then I sent over this song. It's a little long. You can fast forward to it.
Oh, I got it, yeah.
I had no idea what this song was, but they started playing it and literally everyone in the stadium started singing this song. Everyone. Like every Eagles fan, every Packers fan, every Brazilian, every local started singing this song.
This is like I Won't Back Down, when they play that in the stadiums. Like, it's a ballad of sorts.
Casey, they were playing it. It's exactly what I was thinking because they were playing it during a TV timeout. So it was very extended. They played about 90 seconds of it. And then it stopped because the game started again. And everyone kept singing it. Yeah, Preston, if you fast forward about like 45 seconds a minute,
does it pick in?
It just gets like really dramatic and intense. And the entire stadium kept singing it without the song playing.
In the world
of
chicken fingers we dance.
And so really sweet people next to me, and I leaned over to them with like my phone and Google. I was like, you got to tell me what this song was. And the girl next to me was probably about 16, 17 with her parents.
This is a stadium standard.
Wow. I don't know if it's a stadium standard or just like a Brazilian song that, or a song of the country that everybody loves and knows. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the singers and the song title.
Evidencias is the name of the song, and it's a Chitazino and Zororo.
That's good.
You right?
It's a pretty song.
Yeah. I think this version was maybe at like MSG a couple years ago or something. I mean, and it was like 1991.
Eres tú, eres tú.
Do you want some more chicken fingers?
Well, I'm curious lyrically what that song's all about. We'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. And then we do want to touch a little bit on Nick with Pearl Jam, but you made it back home nice and safe. Yeah. Everything was good.
Long travel day, it was like 14, 16, 18 hours of travel.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I've slept a little, I've snacked a little and all this.
I will guarantee you that's how long it took Nick to get out of the parking lot.
Out of the parking lot, Wells Fargo Center. Just overall was great. And I can't say this enough because, again, somebody came up to me yesterday asking, like, did you feel safe while you were there? Yeah. Brazil is a beautiful country, and I hope that the Eagles continue to do this partnership.
And thank you to PhillySportsTrips.com, obviously.
The best.
Yeah.
They're the best,
really,
man.
Really good.
Yeah.
The spring training, and you can get on board for that trip. But follow Marissa's travelogue and see all the great pictures and stories at PrestonandSteve.com. And so that was huge for Marisa.
Yes.
And then huge for Nick over the weekend. Pearl Jam played the first of 2 shows.
Yeah, and Casey, actually, it's funny you brought up I Won't Back Down by Tom Petty when talking to Marisa, because Eddie covered that in the first encore.
No kidding.
He told this, I shared the story up on Instagram, and Eddie told this really cool story about guitars that he had traded with Tom Petty over the years. And Tom sent him this one, and he told a really nice, touching story about it. And then it was just Ed solo on guitar. The first song of the first encore was I Won't Back Down, and the whole stadium sang along to it. But it was an awesome show on Saturday night. Pierre and Brent and I did pre-concert coverage and post-concert coverage. So Steve, the getting out portion of it was okay because we didn't leave until 12:15 in the morning.
There you go.
Because Pierre, we had a lot of coverage.
I haven't talked to this guy.
Yeah, we did a bunch of that. Eddie Vedder, I was talking about this a bunch on Saturday. Eddie Vedder's 59 years old. This band has been around for 34 years. And some bands that have been around for a long time sort of become tribute acts to themselves. And we were kind of making fun of Journey a little bit last week because I think Journey is that. And that's not a slight on Journey at all. They were and are a great band. They're just not what they were at the height of their power. Pearl Jam continues to be really, really good live, and I've seen them many times over the years. I'm surprised at how well they perform still, and I don't know why I'm surprised by it. I just am, and so I go in thinking, am I going to see another great show? Maybe tonight's the night I'm finally let down, and I wasn't.
They
again.
Definitely have filled out the sound a lot.
Yeah, Josh Klinghoffer's in the band.
And do they have like separate percussionists? Like, how many people are on stage?
Well, it's the 5 main guys, and then Boom Gasper is on organ, and then Josh Klinghoffer was the only other one. So he was playing, he was doing some DJing stuff, Casey. He had a guitar. He and Mike McCready would trade licks. But that was it. It was the 5 main guys that have been in the band since 2000, including Matt Cameron on drums.
So the word, Nick, is that they were playing a lot of the new stuff, which I don't think is a problem because the new stuff's really good.
I think they only did 4 or 5 songs,
really?
New songs off the record, Steve. They did a lot of crowd pleasers. They ended the show with a live into Baba O'Reilly, which was awesome. The house lights were up for that. So a lot of energy, really beginning to end. But I want to touch on this moment because it was one of the most touching things I've ever heard. Eddie is friends with Chris Chelios, who played for the Montreal Canadiens and played for the Chicago Blackhawks. And Eddie was in Chicago a few weeks ago hanging out with Chris. And Chris Chelios told Eddie about the Gaudreau brothers, about Matthew and Johnny Gaudreau. And so Ed shares this story, and then they brought out the Gaudreau brothers jerseys. And this is a building with 20,000 people. You could hear a pin drop when he was sharing this story. It was so touching. I just lost it. And they went from that story into Given to Fly. And I like...
That was a sucker punch to everybody, story.
There's no upside to that story, except that there is this collective... grief, and maybe in that collective grief, we all are feeling a little bit better, or at least we're sharing in that,
right.
The horrible news. So it was really sweet. It was nice of him to take the time to do that. And
it's pretty amazing.
It was really, really heartfelt.
Did he recognize you?
He looked right at me.
Wait a second. Is that Nick McElwain?
Listen.
Oh, my God. I totally forgot. Bro, come up on stage. Get Nick a seat.
We are super lucky in this business to get access
You want some chicken fingers?
to tickets with the honey mustard, please, Ed. And I've never had seats this good before. I really, really lucked out on Saturday night. We ended up in the pit in general admission seats. And I was hanging out with Matt Cord and his wife and Pierre and Andrea, my wife. And it was just to be that close at a Pearl Jam show was really freaking awesome. And I felt really lucky to be down there.
And tonight, back.
So tonight we'll be broadcasting from 5 to 7. I think tonight we're on the Broad Street side. We're hanging out with Mike Sulkus, the general manager of the Wells Fargo Center. Mike is such a nice guy. He's a huge help during Camp Out for Hunger every year. And so on Saturday night, we were on the Link side. I think tonight we're on the Broad Street side. But it's 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Just message me on Instagram or text me or whatever. And we'll be there again tonight. But Pierre and Brent and I doing concert coverage before. I probably won't do post-concert coverage tonight since we have to work tomorrow morning. I'll probably cut out as soon as the last song ends. But yeah, it should be fun tonight.
Have you ever done multiple nights for a band in town? Back to back? Yeah.
Jump from one show to another? I don't think I've ever done that.
Yeah, like there's bands playing Thursday and Friday and you see both nights. I've never done that.
No. I've the bands that I'm into, haven't done multiple night engagements. So I never did that.
I'm grateful that they took yesterday off so I could recover yesterday. And then have some energy to go again tonight.
Nick, any word on like what they're doing in between shows?
I was wondering that too.
They're around.
You're going to be at Top Golf.
And why wouldn't you, Ed?
Right, yeah.
It's delightful.
No, it's not strictly golf. It's more like an amusement thing, but it's got the essence of golf.
I have no idea. I wish I knew. I wish that they would come in and do stuff with us because we're fans.
Yeah.
And, it'd be cool to get another interview with Eddie.
Eddie this would be right in the A to Z.
Yeah.
Tell me how he went on and on about the MMR and the whole thing.
Yeah.
This is the real deal, man.
It's hard to
believe. It's about rock, man.
Steve, that was 11 years ago. The last shows of the Spectrum, those were 15 years ago.
Holy hell.
The way the time has flown by. But,
when's the last time they were in town?
They were in Camden in 2022. So that was, and that was the most sold out show I've ever seen in Camden. The place was absolutely packed. And then prior to that were the two, the birthday show at the Wells Fargo Center, MMR's birthday show, April 29th. And that was when they did 10 beginning to end. And by the way, and I asked Mike this, and we didn't get a clear answer. There was a banner that was unfurled that night in April 29, 2016 with Pearl Jam 10 sold out shows in South Philadelphia.
Yeah.
The banner's not hanging anymore.
Interesting.
And they brought it down for a gritty night with the Flyers last year so you could take pictures with it. So it's still in existence. I wish the Wells Fargo Center would hang it back up again because the building looks really great. The renovations that they made, they had all sorts of decorations for Pearl Jam in the lobby and it looked really fantastic. But I want to see that banner hanging up in the rafters again.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe they saved it for tonight. They'll put it back up there. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
All right, concert coverage on MMR. Make sure that you are tuned in, especially if you're headed to the show, because it's always exciting to hear that type of thing leading up to it. But what is this?
This crap. It's a Brazilian song.
Oh, the Brazilian song.
I won't back down.
How about wouldn't it be great if he pulled this out tonight, Eddie?
Unless you happen to frequent Brazil, you wouldn't know this, but it's one of my favorite songs. Marisa recently introduced it to the United States. It's a loving tribute to the wonderful people of Brazil and their dogmatic perfection pursuit of the chicken finger.
What? Evidencias. That's what the song is about.
It means
chicken
the
fingers.
evidence is here. No finer chicken finger will you find.
Hey, one last thing real quick, Preston. Shout out to Sap Sapio, who stopped by the broadcast area on Saturday night. And Sap wanted me to say hi.
Sap Sapio's here.
Yes. Well, Steve, Eddie, if you could say hi to all the YouTubers.
All the YouTubers who are currently streaming the Preston Steve show, thank you so much. See you Top Golf later on.
Squeeze in a quick 9 before you head out. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you for the recap, Nick.
Man.
And have fun tonight. And we'll get some more info from you tomorrow, I'm sure. We're going to take a break. We'll come back in a second. And don't forget, we're in the O section of the Back to School A to Z. Next song is going to be from Green Day. We'll be right back.
I'm
from South Jersey.
But I love that. That's a great quote from Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, he was hitting some of them pretty
doing
solid.
well.
Like the word hit, he said het instead with more of an A.
I like that
sound.
he did like a Scottish version rather than going for like our accent.
That was brilliant.
What were you saying, Stephen?
I was going for a North England Geordie accent.
Oh, so he knows his stuff. That's actually where Stallone is from.
All right, thanks for playing, Stephen. Have a good one, man. All right.
Have a good one.
If you're just tuning in, we have Joel and Leah who are here in the States. They do a YouTube series, and they cover American culture, British culture, kind of compare the two, try some things out over here, sample a little bit.
It's wonderful watching, and they're very much likable. So and people love to see the differences.
Yes. And by the way, I saw BuzzFeed has all these great lists that pop up all the time, and there was one that was showing American sections of grocery stores around the world. And so usually there's a small rack of stuff for maybe who's a tourist or somebody who lives that then go get some of their creature comforts as far as food goes. And you know what I noticed on every single one of those photos? What do you think? What item, if you were to guess?
That is considered expressly American.
Yeah, it was very easy to spot by the packaging. Very bright packaging. It's a candy. I'll give you that.
Circus peanuts?
No.
Candy.
Circus peanuts.
M&M's.
No.
No?
It's a candy.
Yeah.
Skittles.
No. Reese's peanut butter cups.
Ah.
On every single photo that I saw all around the world. I'm like, okay, yeah,
So
sure.
not circus peanuts.
I'd want them.
Yeah, it's funny because my friend Helen hates American candy, and I can't stand British candy. I
like British candy.
Yeah, I can't do it. And they offered, because we were all at the same restaurant last Saturday, and she had a big box of British chocolate. I was like, no thanks. I'm okay with that. Which is crazy because I love chocolate, but she says that American chocolate tastes like vomit.
Yeah, it really does.
It's been like a test. They've tested it. The compound in American chocolate, I think it's the milk powder that they use, does to British taste like vomit.
Oh, that's why Hershey smells like vomit chocolate. It's
We
vile.
just can't eat
Oh my
it.
gosh.
But
So
it's also why Americans wouldn't like British chocolate.
I do like British chocolate, though. I like
I do
dark
too.
chocolate, though.
Okay.
Oh, you're fancy.
There we go.
All right, we have 4 more to go with Brit or not a Brit. So let's get our next caller on the line. It's Carl. Hey there, Carl.
Morning, it.
All right, morning it to you, sir. All right, Carl, we sent you a movie line. Could you please give it for Joel and Leah?
Sure. Oh. See, I made Lewis a bet here. See, Lewis bet me that we couldn't both get rich and put y'all in the poorhouse at the same time. He didn't think we could do it. I won. Trading Places.
All right, that's from Trading Places, the movie. Okay.
He doesn't actually say it in the movie.
Brit or not a Brit? Let's start with you, Leah.
Okay, Brit, maybe from Manchester.
All right.
Union.
Yeah,
How about you,
he's
Joel?
being sneaky. He's definitely a Brit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Northern.
Carl, where are you from?
I'm from Harrogate, North Yorkshire.
Okay. All right, they got it. They got it right.
Well, you guys are good.
Did you nail the region? Is that anywhere near?
Well,
No?
yeah,
Well, it is
Yorkshire
north,
is north, but we thought
North is
Mancunian.
very generic.
Yeah.
So,
What
I
is
don't
the
think we deserve the point.
TH is an F?
Yeah,
yeah,
that's just
both.
like both. That doesn't belong to any region. That's just like relaxed speech. I
Yeah,
guess.
just a little shortcut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Adele actually does that. I think she'll use
Yeah.
an F instead of the TH.
A lot. She does a lot.
Yeah. And why is Liverpudlian so sing-songy? Like when Steve does his
Yeah.
Paul McCartney, it's really up and down. And
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
I don't know
It's
why.
just-
I
it's
really
got a
like it.
lot.
It's got a
Yeah.
But the only thing about Liverpudlian accent I don't like is the K's. So when they say Coke, they'd say Coke.
Chicken and a can
It's
of
like a
Coke.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Really?
not very nice.
That's almost Hasidic here. Like
Thank you, Carl. Appreciate it, man.
This is my rabbi.
Yeah. How about, speaking of pronunciations, a popular one in slang is bruv.
Ah, bruv.
With a V on the end.
Ted
which is
Lasso?
short for brother, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
suppose so.
Or you
Brother,
can say it
bruv.
to anyone.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, bruv.
It's
Or
like a bro here. Like we say,
Yeah.
what's up, bro? You know? So,
Yeah.
but we don't do the V, but that's one I've found that's very, very common.
This is my brother.
Yeah. Has anybody made you aware of John yet?
No.
Yes.
Oh,
John.
okay.
In
John.
Urban Outfitters, that man would taught us John.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were asking about John, a person. I'm like, where is this John person?
J-A-W-N.
We learnt that.
John.
We learnt that, yeah.
Doesn't it just mean anything? Like
Yes.
this water
It's a
bottle,
noun.
like,
Yeah.
oh, this John of water.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You could literally say this John of John.
This John of John.
Yeah, because the
Wow.
John is the bottle and the John is the water as well. So.
Were you just at an
Wow.
Urban Outfitters store? Were you shopping?
Yeah, we were just having a look around, and then randomly one of the employees, lovely man, would start just teaching us Philly slang. Lovely.
I don't think they'd ever seen Londoners before.
Yeah.
Because then we heard him going around going, they're from London.
Oh my God, it was
They look human.
You know what? I'm going to tell you about this city that you may find surprising because Philadelphia has a reputation for being a bit cold and well, not cold, but rude
Rough, yes.
and tough. But
No.
when I have brought people in from out of town and I'll show them around the city, I kid you not, they can tell, like I remember pointing up at City Hall and mentioning Billy Penn's hat and so on. A person came along wearing I think they were wearing a Rocky shirt. And just started jumping in on the conversation
Right.
and offering up, and they were like, "Oh, there's a little version of the statue on the Comcast building."
Yeah.
I'm like, "I know," and so they just started sharing information. I think you'll be surprised to find out how friendly people actually
They are. They really
here
are.
and want to show you. People are very proud of this city, extremely proud of this city, and will want to offer up, hey, here's some slang for you guys, to kind of help you out around town.
Yeah, I don't think it gets enough limelight, does it?
Yeah.
No.
Well, we've got some stuff like the Love Statue, for example.
Did you know Urban Outfitters headquarters are in Philadelphia? If you go down South Broad Street in the Navy Yard, that's where their headquarters are. It's a pretty cool place.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right,
so cool.
3 more for Brit or not a Brit.
Okay.
I have John. Good morning, John.
Is this a John or
This is a John. Not a John. All right, John, are you ready to try this?
Ready to go, Rob.
All right, let's hear it. Here we go.
There will always be a part of me that's dirty and sloppy, but I like that. Just like all the other parts of myself. I can forgive. Can you say the same for yourself? Can you forgive? Are you capable of that?
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, that's good.
They're a little confused. Let's see if we can get an actual answer. Leah, what do you think?
I think he's a Brit.
Okay, what do you think, Joel?
Yeah, I think a Brit. From London, I think.
Yeah.
From London.
That accent was definitely like Cockney style East London, wasn't it?
Okay. John, where are you from?
Well, I'm not a slut, but I'm 100% American.
Somebody get
Well
him a
done,
beach.
John.
We have a winner. Nice. It
good.
says here you're from South Jersey.
I'm from South Jersey, Sewell, New Jersey.
Nice. Where did you pick up this ability to mimic the accent?
Watch a lot of YouTube, Preston.
Watch them. Yes.
Yeah, make sure you watch Joel and Leah. You'll love it, man.
Perfect your accent.
Absolutely.
All right, John, we'll be in touch. We'll get you something for your trouble, my friend. All right, we'll go for 2 more.
Also, Silver Linings Playbook. That line, yes, it was Tiffany, yeah.
Thank you. All right, Catherine, are you there?
I am. Morning.
All right, we have 2 Brits here that are going to try and determine whether or not you're faking it. Let's hear you deliver the Philadelphia-centric movie line we sent you for them. Go ahead.
Hey, woman. Hey, woman. Listen here. Since your old man ain't got no heart, maybe you'd like to see a real man. I bet you stay up late every night dreaming you had a real man, don't you? I'll tell you what. Bring your pretty little self over to my apartment tonight and I'll show you a real man.
Okay.
Do you know that line, Preston?
I don't. What is that?
Rocky 3.
Yeah, it's Clubber Lang.
Oh, man.
Remember when they're standing in front of the Rocky statue? You woman, bring your woman over here. I don't know who the real man is.
I haven't seen Rocky 3 in so long. Okay, let's go to Joel and see if he can determine Brit or not a Brit.
I thought she was very good, but I think not a Brit. I think California.
California
Brit.
Valley girl.
I thought it was a very, lovely, eloquent delivery, but I think not a Brit, so I'd be very surprised.
Catherine, where are you from?
Originally from Lancaster.
All right, Lancaster, PA.
All right, well done.
You didn't get it past him, but thank you very much for helping out. All right, we have.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye. All right, we have 1 more to go in Brit or not a Brit, and the final person is Robert. Robert, are you there?
Top of the morning it.
All right, top of the morning it to you. All right, Robert, we sent you a movie line from Philadelphia. Go ahead and give it to us, please.
You know where Southpaw comes from, I'll tell you. A long time ago, there was this guy, maybe a couple of 100 years ago. He was fighting around, I think it was around Philadelphia, and his arm, he was left-handed, and his arm was facing toward New Jersey, you see, and that's south. So then naturally they call him Southpaw. You see, Southpaw. South Jersey, South Camden, Southpaw. You know what I mean?
That's from Rocky Balboa.
Yes, yeah.
I remember
when
that.
they were on the ice skating rink.
What's that?
Number
Rocky.
Oh,
Not Rocky Balboa. Yeah, he's skating around with Adrian.
That's in the
ice
South
skating
Pole,
rink.
South, South Philadelphia, South America, South, North, a direction, as in directions you might go, one of them being south.
And that's where we got it.
Yeah.
Joel, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Brit. I think he's from Ireland.
Oh, poor man. He probably doesn't want to identify as British, does he?
Yeah.
And he's Irish, yeah.
You think he's Irish?
Yeah, I don't want to offend any because Irish people don't like to be called British, but for the sake of the game, British.
follow you.
Okay.
But
All right.
I think Irish.
Robert, where were you born?
Glasgow, Scotland.
How did we get that
so we
wrong?
got it so
That's
wrong. I'm sorry, but that was
embarrassing.
so Irish.
Is that offensive to him?
You know what? I think Scottish and Irish get annoyed at English people for mixing up the accent. and we
You're
don't do
right.
that.
Oh, we've just done.
I'm
it.
so sorry.
You guys are so right because one of my favorite vacations my wife and I took was to Edinburgh.
Yeah.
And that is clearly something they're not fond of having the accent, the dialect confused. Yes.
No, I'm so sorry. We're such idiot English. people.
Robert,
So sorry,
Robert,
mate.
can you get past this this comment they made?
I identify as Scottish, so I'm okay with it.
You identify as Scottish.
Where do you live now, by the way?
I live in Wilmington, Delaware, but I work in Delco.
Okay,
Delco.
How long have you been in the States?
15 years.
15
years. All right, man. Well, thank you for playing along. We appreciate that.
Cheers.
All right,
All right, take care,
All right,
guys.
there you go. Brit or
Well
not a Brit. All right,
done.
so
By the way, you guys killed it. You did a great job.
yeah, how did they? Did anybody keep score?
Yes.
Okay.
Somehow Joel ended up winning. 7-6.
That's what we said would happen. He's the linguist.
7-6.
Yeah, Joel got one right that Leah got wrong.
And then we had how many on there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We had 11, so that's not bad.
Yeah.
I think that's damn good.
Absolutely. It's a difficult thing, especially over a phone.
Yeah. There were a couple of them that where I was like, yeah. Yep. You could tell right away, just trying a little bit too hard.
When Joel and Leah started laughing
Yeah, yeah.
immediately on something, they were a good sign.
I have a sixth sense. I see dead people. No, that's Japanese.
Now, to put you guys on the spot, do you have any American accent that you try to pull off?
No, we can only do generic Valley Girl, can't
Generic, yeah.
Okay.
Valley Girl.
do
Try,
that.
give it a shot.
we? Okay, so give us something to say and then.
That's the hard part, is coming up with
okay.
something.
We can just
Tell us what you're doing today.
Okay, so today we are going to Preston and Steve, and then after that we are gonna try a Philly cheesesteak.
Well done.
She even got the
Well
vocal
done.
fry in there.
A slightly confused.
Right.
Kardashian,
Vocal
yeah,
fry
Kardashian.
is very
Little
Yeah.
Kardashian.
Yeah.
Yep, there was a little Kardashian in there. How
Oh
about-
yeah. Oh, that's all our references, isn't it? Really. We
Yeah.
don't get a lot of.
Sadly.
Sadly.
How about you, Joel? What else are you doing today?
We might go to the Rocky Steps.
Yeah.
And to the penitentiary.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna have a good time, you know.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Antiseptic.
Yeah.
By the way, Eastern State Penitentiary, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
that
what
is
we
very
think.
cool. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
In fact, it was roundly condemned by Charles Dickens. So when for driving prisoners stone cold mad.
That's exactly what it did.
Yeah.
Yes. So you guys are in town for the next few days, and
yeah.
how quickly will the videos you make end up being put up? Or do you need to spend time editing, or are you going to put them up as you go along?
So the first Philly videos will probably be out this week.
Okay.
Maybe next week. So yeah, if anyone's just wanted to jump on our channel and have a little watch of us,
Yeah.
You guys
then
are
you can.
so much fun, and I encourage people who haven't checked you guys out to check it out. It's very likable, and it's a great distraction and diversion, and it's
Yeah.
Thank
wonderful.
you.
And so I was telling these guys off air that we're supposed to get a bunch of snow on Friday into Saturday, and they really should. If you have the right gear, try and go sledding down the Art Museum steps. It is a real thing that really happens
Yeah.
when it snows out.
It's
We'll
worth,
definitely give that a
it's
go.
worth getting the gear for, isn't it?
All the gear, no
They'll
idea.
set you up.
Yeah.
And give out to your social media and YouTube channel and all that stuff.
Yeah, sure. We are at Joel and Leah, JoelAndLia, on everything.
Okay.
So you can find us that way.
Perfect.
All right. Excellent. Well, thank you guys for coming by.
Thanks for having us.
It's great to
That was
see
fun.
you,
Thank
and
you so
hopefully,
much.
hopefully we'll be over there again.
Yeah,
sometime.
see you in London,
Definitely.
guys.
Come on
And,
over.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. All right, Joel and Leah, let's hear it for them, guys. With that, we are going to take a break. We will come back in just a moment, so make sure that you hang close, my friend. the band Coheed and Cambria will be at the Leah Core Center on July 27th. Tickets are going to go on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. at coheedandcambria.com. They are promoting their highly anticipated new record, which is Vaxis to a Window of the Waking Mind, and spiraling somewhere in the United States as we speak on a bus, headed out on tour. He is joining us live. Please welcome the singer of the band, the man behind the music, Mr. Claudio Sanchez. This morning. Claudio, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure, man. Listen, I'm going to be straight up with you from the very get-go because we're excited about having this interview, and I just have the smallest amount of knowledge of Coheed and Cambria. I've been aware of you guys for a long time. I only know a few songs, and I was like, man, do I kind of, BS this guy and just pretend like I know all of his music and do the interview that way? But then I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? You've got such diehard fans. The fans know about your music. They're going to go to your show. But how about the people that might not be that familiar with? Thank you, Kathy. Real quick, before we do the Bizarre File, a couple of quick shout-outs. This one was from Tony and says, first and foremost, oh, look who it is.
Oh, look who's here.
It is, he says, September Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and I'm hoping you can give a special shout-out. The shout-out is for those who live in the darkness and believe they are fighting alone. And I hope the shout-out will let them see the light and continue the battle. Let's show them that they do not fight alone. And this fight is personal for me, as my son lost that battle actually not that long ago. And it says in July 29th of this year. Boy. It's terrible. Thank you and you guys, because you're the light for so many. You have made me smile during the worst time of life. So, Tony, we're absolutely happy to do that for you. And thank you for emailing in. I'm so sorry to hear about what you've gone through. And here's another one. This is from Gloria Gadog Engdahl. Says, hey, Preston and gang, my brother-in-law Kevin is celebrating birthday September 9th. He and his wife, Allie, my sister, both listen to your show and podcast frequently. Happy birthday, Kev. Can you give a yoo-hoo to Kevin, please? Yeah! So that's from Gloria Gadak. So there's a shout out for you. Happy birthday to you. All right, let's do the Bizarre File start.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you by Delco Trim Light. Visit delcotrimlight.com to schedule an estimate on installation of the coolest, permanent, programmable holiday lighting system around. We'll start in Las Vegas. Police arrested an evangelical pastor for allegedly having guns and drugs in a hotel room in an incident that initially sparked a counterterrorism response.
I have sinned.
David McGee, who is 61, faces drug and gun-related charges connection to his arrest.
No hookers this time.
At the Strat Hotel Casino and Tower. McGee was the senior pastor at the Bridge Fellowship outside of Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
I will admit that on paper, this doesn't seem copacetic.
Though its building shuttered in 2023, the evangelical ministry continues online and through radio programs. Detectives responded to the hotel after McGee reported a piece of property missing. McGee told police that he was visiting Vegas and had arrived in a private jet to find his daughter. He's got a private jet.
Private friggin' jet.
When officers asked McGee if he had any weapons in his room, he reportedly replied, yes, I have a gun in my guitar case. Hotel employees had previously warned McGee about the policy after he allegedly brought a shotgun to his room days earlier.
So is his guitar in the gun case?
No. Well, maybe it is. Okay. The discovery of the firearms, including an AR-15 with a scope, prompted responding officers to suspect Mr. McGee was planning a October 1st style shooting.
Right.
Since the 2017 mass shooting, Metro Police have investigated suspicious situations where multiple firearms are located inside hotels on the Las Vegas Strip. Inside the hotel room, police said they also found suspected fentanyl pills and powder. McGee advised the detective that he brought the fentanyl from North Carolina on his private jet to Las Vegas and paid approximately $1,000. And he stated that he was a user of fentanyl and intended to distribute the fentanyl to his daughter when he located her.
Okay, now we understand. I'm a proud fentanyl user.
In the days before Strip Vegas, McGee posted on a public Facebook page that he was traveling to find his daughter, who he believed was living in a flood-controlled tunnel.
No!
He posted a day before his arrest, please pray for me as I go get my daughter. from the worst and scariest place for my daughter in America, the Las Vegas tunnels.
Yeah.
And then he posted a photo of himself in front of the strap.
That makes complete sense because if you're going to lure your daughter out of a Las Vegas tunnel, you got to put fentanyl.
And you got to have your guns.
You got to have your guns to shoot back the chuds that are coming after her.
Hang on a second. I'm kind of following what's going on here. Think of this as like an action movie where dude's daughter is gone, so now he's got to go rescue her, right? So
He's got a particular set of skills.
He brings the guns to protect himself and his daughter, and the fentanyl is not for her, but to bribe people to find out where she is. This is
because in that world, that's like cash.
Yep.
I hear you.
Unless, of course, he's just a drug user and brings guns, too.
That's the other. That's the other side.
If you're going to take the absurd angle.
Freaking mind. McGee's wife posted on his behalf, writing he had been in touch with
He's
her
a
daughter,
moron.
and that he was asking for prayers for his health, wisdom, and safety and discernment.
And yet I bet you, come the next time he's up in front of a congregation, they're going to start putting money in that.
Yeah. He'll get a new jet.
Yeah.
He'll get a new jet. In New Hampshire, a truck driver was critically injured in a crash involving another dump truck and a moose in Errol on Friday morning.
A moose?
Why don't you forget the moose for a moment?
Police said a pair of commercial dump trucks collided around 6:30 a.m. One of the trucks was driven by a 38-year-old man. That man's truck struck a moose that had entered the road, causing the man to lose control, collide head-on with another dump truck driven by a 22-year-old. Police said the 38-year-old man was transported to the hospital in critical condition. They medically evaluated the other gentleman, and he did not need any treatment. The moose did not survive the collision, I'm sorry to say, yes.
Why don't you forget the moose?
Please.
For a moment.
A 33-year-old man who mailed himself to the house of his ex-partner has been sentenced to 4 months for stalking. This is in England.
How big was that envelope?
It was a box.
Oh.
The delivery took place on May 18th and was the culmination of a series of incidents following the breakup of the couple's one-year relationship, including the theft of her keys, trespassing, and placing a tracker in her home. The man told the magistrate that having himself delivered in a box was the only way to get in and get my stuff back.
And look, I brought fentanyl.
When he emerged from the box, the woman claims that he threatened her with a gun. He then took off with the keys to the house. No weapon was found at the man's home address, but the prosecutor said he did steal the keys as well as bombard the woman with emails and created a social media account in her name.
This guy is such a romantic.
The woman placed a camera in her home after the incident with the box, which showed the man had turned up in her house 3 times, and during one of his visits, he placed a tracker behind the cooker, it says.
Is the secret to successful wooing mailing yourself to your partner?
The man claimed the woman had given permission for the visits and that the keys were given to him earlier, but that did not impress the magistrate, who agreed to the prosecutor's demand of 4 months in jail and a 3-year restraining order. And then we'll do one more at least. Let's end with this one. This is pretty wild. Chinese authorities are investigating the case of an elderly man who died 13 days after having 23 teeth extracted.
Whoa!
And 12 implants inserted on the same day at a dental clinic. Ms. Xu recently filed a complaint with the Municipal Health Bureau against a local dental clinic after her father's death. The woman presented evidence that her parent had 23 teeth extracted and 12 new teeth implanted in a single session, which she claims caused his ultimate demise 13 days later. Ms. Xu told authorities that her father suffered agonizing pain throughout the last 13 days of his life before suffering a fatal heart attack on August 28th, and now she wants those responsible to be brought to justice. He had to endure unimaginable pain after the anesthesia apparently wore off.
Yeah, no kidding.
Although the number of the extractions seems a bit excessive for a single session, a spokesperson for the clinic where the procedure was carried out said that the number of teeth that can be removed at one time needs to be determined by a doctor in a face-to-face consultation based on the patient's physical condition.
We took his jaw off, too.
The 23 extractions were carried out by a doctor named Yuan, although there is currently no specific regulation on the number of teeth to be extracted in a single session. The clinic and the doctor must take into consideration the patient's pain tolerance and the risk of infection. The more teeth you extract, the greater the patient's pain response and the greater the probability of post-operative infection.
23 teeth.
Yeah, an investigation in this case is currently underway. Wow. All right, and that is all I have in the bizarre file for you this morning. We will take a break. Not before I tell you that the MMRBQ live band karaoke voting is over.
Nothing's over.
It is time.
This is over.
Nothing is over.
It's over.
Yes, and we will be making an announcement very, very soon. Possibly tomorrow, maybe, of the 10 singers. We'll find out. We'll
have 2 weeks away, right?
We'll have a meeting. Yes, it is less than 2 weeks away.
On a Saturday?
Yeah. So
unbelievable.
It's on the...
The offspring.
It's on the 21st. So 10 singers chosen. Each gets a 4-pack of MM tickets. We are excited about this. So we'll reveal that information as soon as we have it all compiled and ready to go.
Imagine weather like today.
Oh, my God.
Imagine that.
MM barbecue?
For the barbecue?
Unreal. Yeah. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back in just a moment, so please stay with us because we won't be gone long.
Preston and Steve.
On 93.3. People on board this. And so I want to be one of those people. And the reason I know I'm going to be one of those people is I had the same type of sensation of just checking out and diving into your catalog in the last couple of days that I had when I first, somebody turned me on to Rush. Okay, so I'm a prog guy, and Rush is my band. And when somebody played 2112 for me the first time, that was my first dive into conceptual music. And I was like Pinto in Animal House when he finds out that there's an atom on your fingernail could be a tiny little universe. I was just like, I can't handle this. I was blown away. So I'm really open to diving deep into the world of Coheed and Cambria because it's a very dense universe. There's a lot of material there. And I bet you love hearing about people coming on board and really experiencing the music, you know?
Yeah, well, that's actually a big conversation we had when making Baxis 2 with our A&R Johnny Minardi. It's just like, Coheed and Cambria has been a band now like 20 years. And it's like, well, what does that look like to somebody coming on board? And it's not that different from, say, like somebody getting introduced to maybe the Star Wars universe and then realizing there's this whole mythology, this whole catalog of records behind them that's vast, And so, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a conversation that I love sort of having is like, this is way more than just music. It's a culture, and all because, I started it as a kid because I was shy. I just had a hard time singing about myself, and I was afraid to let people know about me. So I created a concept to hide behind.
And for those who don't know, Claudio, is that the band's work, now listen, there are concept albums. There's The Wall, and there's 2112, and there's Dark Side of the Moon, and these albums that have this entire, project that's just filled with this story, and it's amazing. But the band's entire work, from what I understand, is all a conceptual piece. Is that a correct assumption or a correct characterization?
Yeah. Yep, with the exception of one record, which was called The Color Before the Sun, but everything else is part of a mythology I constructed, a science fiction epic called The Amory Wars, where Coheed and Cambria... Yeah, where Coheed and Cambria are essentially, in the first 5 stories, act as kind of the Adam and Eves. They sort of set the whole mythology off. And then everything else is really about their sons coming into manhood, like an adolescent growing into a man and understanding like his place within this universe that he essentially has control over. And then after that, we kind of fall into this new story arc that we're working on called Baxis. And that, when I look at the Baxis story arc and I think about myself in there, whereas like those original Coheed records, I see myself as the adolescent and I'm growing up. Mm-hmm. Whereas in the Baxis story arc, I see myself as the father, and that's really kind of the trajectory there. Those are the themes there is how a father deals with, a man kind of coming into his own as a dad, basically,
I love this notion. Sorry. I would have been, and I am now going to, because I just as Preston said, we're both fans of this kind of approach to music. It's few and far between these days. And it used to be the norm. And you would just get there and you would immerse and you would look at album art and you would be, what's the message? And you talk about album art. You've got the comic series. I mean, you've got all of this stuff that's dovetailing. Preston, at 16 or 17, if you found this band, you'd be outside the tour bus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, bugging the crowd. I mean, because honestly, I heard so many people that I respected and respect, Claudio, the band's name would always come up. And I'm like, well, I love this stuff. And so circuitously, I would experience and go, yeah, that's good. Not understanding. I mean, what is a very rare situation where it's not just simply a thematic concept album, it's a concept band. That is awesome. That's a mind blower. Did you start to fall into it just through the growth of the band, or was that the modus operandi from day one?
So when I started writing material, I think I was about, I was a teenager. Right. And I became the singer of this band. And when I was writing the material for it, before it was Coheed and Cambria, I started to realize, like, I just had a hard time. I had a hard time singing songs about myself, putting my heart on my sleeve. But though they were, so I just didn't want anybody to go, oh, I know that person now because of the music, So I started to construct this concept. So I took a trip to Paris, France in 1998. And there's where I started to construct the ideas of Coheed and Cambria, the characters, some of the first songs on the first record. Just because I hadn't been anywhere. I'm a New York kid. The furthest I had been was New Jersey. And now I'm in Paris, and it was so wonderful. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just really adopt this as a songwriter. Of course, I'm a teenager. I'm not like thinking that strategically, but that's just what I thought. I was like, you know what? I'm shy. Let's just put this out there with a curtain, and that's what I did. And then, when the band got signed in 2001 to Equal Vision, an indie up in New York, they didn't like the name of the band we had at the time. And so Coheed and Cambria happened to be this project I was working on the side, and the band really liked it. And so with that, we adopted the name, and I took the concept with me, and it's just kind of been I guess from day one when the signing, I guess you could say it's always been the thing.
That's great.
All right, so you had mentioned entering this universe for the first time, and you had sort of drawn the parallel between your music and, let's say, the Star Wars universe. So for us, the Star Wars universe started with Episode 4. So if we were talking to somebody who had never seen a movie before, we might start with Episode 4, and other people might say, no, you got to start with Episode 1, and then other people might say, no, you need to start with Rogue One or whatever. So what I want to ask you, 20 years later, and I've done this with other bands where I discovered a band, 4 records in. I'm like, okay, well, where do I start? Do I start with the newest stuff, or do I go back to the beginning? So for you, for anybody who just heard Shoulders for the first time, and that is their introduction to the band, do you recommend starting there, or do you recommend going back to 2002 to the Second Stage Turbine Blade?
I think it's totally subjective. I mean, this answer changes all the time. It all depends on timing, right? Like, if we were to finish, say, the Vaxxis story, which is 3 more records, my answer to this question would be different. I would say, I'm really proud of Vaxxis 2. I think Vaxxis 2 really kind of stands off on its own. I also really love the idea of, like, coming into something late and then discovering the fact that there's all this other stuff to consume. But if I had to say, Second Stage Turbine Blade is basically the second part of the Amory Wars. That is the second part in this huge mythology that's probably going to ultimately be 12 parts. But that's the second part. The origin story of those characters is in a record called Year of the Black Rainbow. So technically that's the first. Here's the thing. So sorry. Here's where my crazy gets into play.
All right, it's all good.
Every record has a numeric value. So Year of the Black Rainbow, year being singular, Second Stage Turbine Blade, second being 2, In Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth 3 is the third part, Good Apollo 4.
Oh my.
So every record has its numeric value within the story. The Vaxxis story arc, however, that's sort of more cryptic. The V for Vaxxis stands for the Roman numeral 5, and the axis in which all of the Amory Wars is now going to revolve. So it's a little heady.
No. This is absolutely, and I love it because I'm looking at a color code that explains a song can be exclusive, like red, for example. A song can sometimes be exclusively from the point view of a character in the real. I mean, there's a breakdown of tone of who is speaking based on a color code. Your fan base is obviously very much into the minutia. We are as well for so many things that are pop culture, and obviously you're a science fiction fan. So what has rocked your? I got to assume you're a Dune fan, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I love all versions of Dune. I love the Frank Herbert book. I actually liked the David Lynch movie. I mean, when I saw that, I was a child.
So did Steve and I.
Yeah,
I had no.
We're fans as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I really love the new one. So yes, I'm definitely a fan of Dune. Definitely a fan of Star Wars. I also really like I liked Krull. Are you guys familiar?
Krull, of course, Krull.
Yeah.
It's cheesy goodness.
Oh my God!
That sort of star, that weapon,
star that he would throw.
Was awesome. Yeah.
The glaive.
The glaive.
Yeah,
dude, I wanted one of those so bad. Yeah, I totally. Yeah.
I was like, right, but so that was like the thing, right? So when I was a kid, you'd sit watching HBO in hopes that Star Wars would come on, and HBO would give you give you Krull, they'd give you Ice Pirates.
Ice with Robert Urich. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So those are like sort of those are like the science fiction movies that I got kind of brought up on. Comic books, obviously. Anything sort of pop culture, like Saturday morning cartoons, He-Man, G.I. Joe. I was I thought Tron. I think the era that I grew up in. I mean, I'm pre-adolescence. I'm in the '80s, so it's very character driven. People are trying to sell toys essentially, and so characters are very defined. Even in the most cheesy way, when you think of G.I. Joe, you got Shipwreck, who's the sailor, or so I think I was kind of lucky in that respect because I don't know that all that stuff really influenced me.
Oh, we talk about
hard.
this. Yeah, we talk about this, especially from that period. We were just talking about the movie Alien Nation. Do you remember that with the?
Yep, absolutely.
Right. All of those were very high concept, very easily consumable science fiction.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny because that gives us a fixed point at what was your impetus for this, and it all makes sense. But that's very cool. So besides the comic book and the music, since everything obviously has a very theatrical aspect to it, would you take a foray into films? Is this something that has actually happened and we're unaware of, that you've announced any plans for films? Because I think your vision would be perfect for this.
We've attempted it, but on a very grassroots sort of small level, not in a very serious way. No one's really come to approach us essentially. Okay. At one point, Mark Wahlberg tried to get involved, his company Leverage, but it wasn't really. I mean, I think it was the wrong time because now I got to tell you, I get asked this question way more than I've ever. And I think it has a lot to do with maybe the Vaxxas story arc, because a lot of the accompanying art, the story is very photographic. It's very photorealistic, and it's easier to see, I think, than it ever has been.
Right.
So I get asked it a lot. So I have a feeling it might happen. Nothing right now, but it just feels like the wave is pushing in that direction.
All right, so Claudio, to that end, in 1998, when you're writing in Paris, essentially you're creating this story arc, but the constant from 1998 until right now is the music, right? The music sort of is at the base of a lot of this stuff.
You're going about your business, you're having a wonderful day, the weather's great, and then all of a sudden you have to realize how lost we all feel if you have yourself without your phone.
That alone.
And add to it, without your wallet, too, because it ended up at the bottom of the sea. As a special guest commentator, ladies and gentlemen, Captain Chuck D'Amico.
Hey!
How's everybody's weekend?
So Chuck, by the way, a new boat owner this year.
Runs a crab fishing operation.
Yes.
Yeah, out of the Cape May. No.
Yeah, it's an old boat, actually.
It's a pontoon boat, right?
It's a pontoon boat.
Yeah.
And we keep it on the bay in North Wildwood.
Yeah.
It's really old, but it has these really great seat covers that each seat has its own individual cover.
It's nice.
And we went yesterday to put the covers on. And they fit good, and it was going really well, but you have to kind of lean over a lot. You have to stretch and reach.
To reach a little snapping point.
Snap, you know what I mean? It's going really well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm leaning over to get this one snap over the back, over the edge of the water, and I just hear splash, splash. And I look down, and there goes my phone and my wallet.
Were they in? Did you have them where were they that they slid out?
They were in my hoodie pocket.
That's the worst part.
So we didn't go there to put the covers on.
Right.
We went there to do something else. I'm like, while we're here, it's probably covered up. And I didn't even think to empty my pockets.
Right.
But yeah, so it was high tide. And I didn't know how deep the water was or how cold the water was, and we were going home from there. And I wasn't dressed to be in the water or whatever. Yeah. But I hear the splash, and I immediately, my phone is just going later.
Yeah. You know, you could just see it sinking like Jack
I could
and
see
Titanic.
the whole phone, and the screen of it was facing me, and I could see the whole phone underwater and just gone like that.
No immediate. I'm diving in. I'm going in. No, that didn't.
No, I'm like, okay, phone's gone, and immediately it's almost like in less than a millisecond, you're like, oh, this is my day now. You know?
Yeah.
We've all lost the phone. Like, this phone's not going to survive that. You know, like, okay, this is my day now. I'm going to be dealing with this.
The first thing that comes to your mind is your call 17. You know, as you're calling the credit card companies.
Yeah, sure. Well, the wallet was floating. Right?
Oh,
and I'm like, the wallet floats. Oh, great, right? So it's floating, and I can see it.
Yeah,
can't reach it. Don't know if it's cold or deep, but it's floating, and I feel like I have a minute here. Looking around for a net. I don't have a net on the boat. There's a boat behind my boat that has a net, but it's up way high, like on one of the big racks on the top of the boat. So I climb off my boat. I climb onto that boat. I climb up top. I get the net. I come running back. Wallet's gone.
Gone?
It sunk. It got soaked and sunk.
Yeah, probably got waterlogged and sunk. Yeah.
So I would have jumped in after the water.
I would have jumped in, man.
Yeah. So I jumped in after that.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I jumped in after that, and I could immediately feel the tide pulling.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? Oh, you could immediately feel it like against your body. The water was about up to my chin, so 5 feet high or something like that.
Yeah.
Pretty cold, but at this point, whatever.
So your perception.
And you could feel it.
Okay.
Yeah, so you could just know that thing's out in the middle of the
gone.
bay.
Yeah, it's been carried away.
Yeah. As it sank down, it was going out fast.
Yeah,
You know what I
somewhere
mean?
and it was going to get sucked away.
Right. I did fish around for the phone just to try to find it, see, if there's anything, but no dice.
All right, so as far as the contents of your wallet is concerned, I assume
how many condoms?
I assume you didn't have like $1,000 in there, but like what is it? Is it the driver's license that's the worst to go, or?
So I had a lot of time to think on the way home. In my freezing cold pants, shorts.
Wait, so you didn't even change?
No, I mean I'd have to go back to my house.
His clothes
I'm
were
not
in
even
his
near
wallet.
my house. I'm not near my other pants are in my wallet. Yeah.
Well, I just thought maybe you had like a bag in your car. You could quick swap out your wet pants.
What is he, Superman?
Yeah.
Put your wife's pants on.
Always keep dry pants. So I'm kind of doing an inventory of my wallet on the way home, and every few miles you think, oh, that's in there too. Oh, that's in there too. Right. So driver's license, insurance card, 2 debit cards, probably 4 or 5 credit cards. The key cards for the building here.
So your keys,
right?
yeah.
The key cards
Wait,
to
you
get
know
in
you
and
have
out.
to pay for them, right? To get a replacement.
Yeah. I think that's it. I didn't have any cash. Oh, my boat license. Driver's license and boat license, yeah.
So that's the thing that you run through.
It's the collective of everything that is. You could call and cancel a credit card, but it's just like
Right.
there's
If you had
4
a
or 5
phone.
Yeah, if you had a phone, or if you had the number on the back of the card. Yeah.
But there's 4 or 5. Then the license, that's
Right. So here's what's wild. So I'm driving home and I'm like, all right, I'll just jump online. I'll take care of these things one at a time. And so I log on to the New Jersey DMV. Requesting a duplicate license was extremely easy.
Okay.
But you have to have your driver's license number.
to do
Oh
it.
my
To
God.
do it, right. Now, I had sent a photo of my driver's license to my son for some reason. So he had that picture.
Oh, thank God.
So that was pretty easy to do and very quick. And so I have a paper license to hold me over. The credit cards, when you want to log into the credit card, like most of the websites, they want to text your phone a confirmation
to make sure it's you.
number.
Yeah. And they consider that just a basic security.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to make sure this is you. Is this still your number? I'm like, kind of. But yeah, so immediately became pretty evident. Like I have to get the phone first before I can do the rest of the credit cards.
And wait, when did this happen yesterday?
Happened yesterday about 1 o'clock.
Okay. What time did you get the phone?
I had a phone by about 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's not bad.
Well, the beauty of it is my wife had to pay for it because I couldn't pay for it. I'm like, I can't, like, I'm taking my buddy Brian to Pearl Jam tonight. He's buying.
Oh,
yeah. I can't pay for anything. I can barely get anywhere. Like,
yeah,
it's wild.
So that's funny. You think about it. To your original setup, Preston, about at what level do you just start flailing? I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Because you're right. You use your verification. A lot of times it'll be that text to the phone to prove that it's you.
Yeah.
But you do raise a good issue in all of this, circuitously raise this issue. It would be wise to somewhere have a photocopy of your license and your credit cards.
Everything.
On a page, hide it somewhere, but at least you would have it at home. And I think could save you a world of hurt for the very reason you're talking about.
Yep.
You lose both at the same time, or for whatever reason. But so where do you stand? Credit cards all canceled, all good now?
No, I'm about halfway done the whole process, but I have the phone and that's done. But yeah, two major lessons, right? Keep a list of everything that's in your wallet or your purse or whatever. Maybe even photos printed out like in a safe. And always keep a net on the boat.
Always keep a net. Well, also,
don't put stuff in your pockets, man.
You benefit from it's not like you went to Pearl Jam and lost your wallet and your phone, so that somebody could have picked that up. I mean, you know that it is now in the mouth of a grouper.
Sure.
Are there any silver linings to losing all that stuff? Like, is there anything where you can start over and with clean slate?
Really,
good question.
You're a man that doesn't exist. You can start life all over again with a new family.
Yeah. Well, when I walked into Verizon, I was like, my whole life is at the bottom of the bay, man. Can you help me?
What do you do
silver
for
linings?
Yeah.
What do you do for a living, sir? I'm a drummer.
Yeah. I was surprisingly just okay with it. I wasn't like freaking out, angry.
Well, what are you
upset,
going to do?
That's it.
You know what I mean?
Right? Yeah. It was almost like poetic in a way. It's like, there goes all my stuff. Okay, I'll deal with it now. I just felt very Pierre about the whole thing,
Wow. At any time did you have the urge to sink your pontoon boat?
Yeah.
It's you.
Yeah,
you made this happen.
No, I mean, we were
with
kind
your
of,
cool seats.
We're kind of putting the wraps on like a really, really great summer. We had a great summer down there.
You did great on the boat.
Splash. Do you know what didn't happen though? And this is the way I do it. The rolling contextualizing is that it wasn't someone who fell overboard that you were looking for.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't all of the multitude of things that can happen in any nautical situation. It's kind of par for the course.
And also, Chuck, it wasn't like you went out to a sporting event or something like that, and oh my God, where's my wallet? Somebody's got it. They're going through they're using my personal information. This is at the bottom of the ocean.
Right.
You don't have to worry about identity theft from that or anything like that.
That happens. Say that happens just as he described, but you're at a stadium in Brazil, and suddenly all these chicken finger charges are coming up on your credit card.
Crazy.
Unless the scuba diver finds it and he's buying new gear.
That's the other thing too. I was like, does anybody have any goggles? Maybe I could go under and maybe see it.
Yeah.
Hey, who was with you when this happened?
Just my wife, Leanne.
How did she react?
She was cool.
Okay.
She wasn't freaking out, and she was very pleased that I was not freaking out, that I was not angry or yelling or upset. It's just.
Do you get the?
I would have been freaking out. I would have been so pissed at myself.
Well, I was
so angry.
Yeah. Well,
that I would have thrown a fit.
I regretted not jumping in after the wallet. I regretted not doing that. Like I should have just jumped in. But my first instinct was check the rest of my pockets. What else do I have? Like I didn't lose my car keys. You know what I mean? Like because we had separate cars. My car would have been stuck down there. I would have to drive all the way home and then drive all the way back down the shore with a spare key or something. But yeah, that was kind of the regret was I didn't move faster to get to the wallet. Yeah.
One thing that you also learn, and you're just talking about you freak out when you're with your spouse. A lot of times, I always have to remember that she's there catching all this residual,
right?
And it's like it's not cool to do it. Though you try not to. It's only human to go, oh my God, and freak out and then curse yourself and every possible thing. But it ends up. It washes down to the person, your wife, and they're like, oh, and now they start getting wound up.
I think it makes it so much easier to deal with when it's final.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. Like
there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
The phone and I were over in an instant.
Yeah.
Like that thing was gone and sinking fast and saying goodbye. And I'm like, well,
Mr. D'Amico, I'm captain of Russian trawler. I found your wallet.
But that's also easy to replace. Everything's in the cloud, right? Like you have your phone and do you have the majority of the stuff on it?
So we went. It was easy enough to replace for about $1,000.
Right. Yeah. Well, I didn't say the price.
Isn't that great? That phones only cost $1,000.
So easy. It's so easy. Oh my God.
But it's on her card. When you go to update it, I have the automatic backup.
Yeah.
And the most recent backup was from yesterday morning.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
So I was missing like one text.
Honestly, for years I fought the notion, and I'm a big tech dude, but I'm like, I don't know, stick my stuff up in there. I don't know, have my files up in the cloud. I'm like, oh Christ! And then I just roll. That's the best thing you could ever do, exactly for that reason.
The only thing I was thinking about, as far as like, what am I going to lose from the phone? The thing I was most concerned about was pictures.
Yeah,
that was it. Because
they're on the cloud as well, right?
Yeah, it was all there. Yeah.
It's interesting because just last week, Peanut. Mike, Mr. Peanut, he was kayaking on the Perkiomen Creek, and they were dragging most of the way, and they got off to this area, and they went into like a chute. All of a sudden, it just took off, and it caused them to roll, bone, bloop, right in there, and that's a swift current. And he said he went back, he searched all over the place, feeling around there. He's like, it's gone.
Do you know in the original
gone.
book Deliverance, it wasn't the being sexually abused by the hillbillies. The real thing was the guy lost his wallet.
Yeah.
That was what it was really.
I can understand.
Yeah.
And I have those waterproof things that you wear around your neck that seal up. You put your phone in.
Yep.
I have 5 of them.
Yeah.
Never use them, do you?
Yeah, no.
I was using those in the Grand Canyon. But my son dropped my daughter's phone into the bay over in Lewis, Delaware. And it was just such a dumb, he didn't mean to, but he was just careless with her phone, and it dropped into the bay, through the dock, boards.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I got it back.
How?
Dude, I don't know. I had to run back to the house and go. I can't remember what I grabbed out of the shed.
Your pontoon boat.
But I know maybe it was kind of a net. I don't remember exactly what this apparatus was, but dude, I got it back in about 10 seconds. I couldn't believe it. It was just ridiculous. And
you got lucky.
Yeah, we did.
We very much got lucky.
Chuck, we were at an event. Was it Parks Casino where I dropped my phone in the toilet?
Yeah. I think it was Parks, yeah.
Chuck, I contemplate. I was like, I'll just flush it. It's like, I don't, what am I going to do here?
I'm going to leave the country.
We're talking about.
I'm going to leave the country and start a new life.
Chuck, if you put the phone in one of those cases that you were describing that you didn't use over the weekend, and it falls into the water, does it float?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Does it?
I think so.
No,
They do
sinks and fills with water.
They do have bags that have a little air in them, and then
I know the idea, the concept is it would protect it from getting wet, but would it also prevent it from not sinking?
I don't know. You want to try it?
Yeah, let's try it with another one of your phones.
The other question would be, so was it an iPhone, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so they're not waterproof. They're water resistant. You can drop it in a little bit of water and pull it out, and it would be. My wife dropped her phone in our pool and got it out quickly.
I dropped it into the toilet,
and it worked. It worked fine. So,
right. Okay. Yeah.
You dropped it in the toilet and what?
While I was peeing. I'm like, oh my God. I can't believe
Casey, think about it. Could have been poop.
It could have been.
Right?
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes, I pissed on my. I pissed all over my phone. What can I do?
Yeah, you're awfully calm. I still think, I get it. That's it. It's over. You can't let it bother you, but I'd be pissed.
Yeah, I have a lot of work to do still to get all my cards straightened out and
you'll do it though.
Get a new boat license.
And you know what? You'll find new things. You'll get some sort of notice that hey, you didn't change your credit card or whatever.
Right. And so I do have some recurring charges to some of the cards. They're all going to have to move to new cards. So I'm kind of waiting for the
notice.
All the stress to come with all that. But I'll just deal with it as it comes.
Couple of texts here coming in. Somebody said, I located a phone underwater using my phone.
Find My Phone?
Find My iPhone, I assume, is what they're talking about. They said they're waterproof for a little while, so they managed to do that. Another person wrote, BOAT, B-O-A-T equals break out another 1,000.
Yeah. There you go.
Even a phone.
Even for the phone.
Sure. Category.
Yeah.
A boat is a money sucker.
Is this the same person? Somebody said my daughter friend lost her phone at Lollapalooza and it washed up on the beach in Atlantic City. No, those are two different texts.
Wow.
How did that happen? She was in Chicago and it washed
It's amazing. My phone washed. North Island. Yeah.
Wow. Hang on a second. I want to go to, this is not water related, but I will go to Joe real quick here. Hey, Joe, good morning.
Tale as old as time, Beauty and the Beast.
Beautiful.
Phenomenal, Joe. We're tearing up over here, man. What's up?
What's up, fellas? and ladies. So Friday night, watching the beginning of the Eagles game, ran over to West Philly to go see Cage the Elephant. Got back to the end of the game after they ended, realized that I lost my wallet. Got home at 2 a.m. because I went back there to look for it. Next thing you know, next morning, 10 a.m., they had it at the box office.
Really?
Dude, very, very
Good
lucky.
for you.
Very lucky.
Was everything in it still?
Yeah. Even the $6 is still in it. So.
Even the $6.
Good deal.
Some thief is going,
You
$6.
bragger.
Yeah.
I'm on Easy Street now.
Wow.
I can give up my drug habit.
Crazy part is that it had a slot for an AirTag, and I haven't gotten one yet because I just got the wallet. Best believe that I ordered a 4-pack this weekend of AirTags.
I tell you what, the AirTags are a godsend. And we've mentioned them many times on the air. Everything. My house is so friggin' AirTagged up. It's ridiculous.
All right, let me ask you a question because I have a friend, and this friend is not me. I promise you I did not do this, but I have a friend who found somebody's wallet in New Orleans. I think there was like $60 in the wallet. So he took the $60, located the person who lost the wallet, and then gave them back their wallet. He was like, kind of like a finder's fee. Do you think that's a dick move?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you let the
100% dick move?
I think you let the person you give it back to decide what you get.
I think that's how it works.
Yeah.
It depends on how old you are.
Yeah.
I think he was in his early 30s at the time.
It's too old. That's a dick move.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What's the cutoff?
Early 20s.
Early 20s?
You're in
Yeah.
New Orleans.
Okay.
$60 will get you one
Maybe
video
take
game.
half of it, something like that, buy a few drinks.
But like,
for doing
all
a
right,
good deed.
Don't you run the risk of the guy not giving you a finder's fee, and then you go through the trouble of locating a complete stranger in a city?
I know what you're saying. If you've stolen the money, you shouldn't expect to find it.
Yeah.
Hey!
Right. And plus, they'll never know who took the money.
Right.
So, dude, I just found this. That's the way it was.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody else had their way with it. And
It was funny because when I was in New York City for the Fish concert in December, right out in front of the hotel, it looked like somebody had found somebody else's wallet, and there were credit cards all over the street.
Wow.
And I collected all of them, and I threw them away. Yeah, no, I just...
Not before.
Hold on. I want to go to this call. This is Kim. Hi. Kim, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hi. Your singing telegram.
We love you, Kim. We love you. What's up?
Oh, my God. Okay, so I just retold this the other day, and I just heard you guys, and I had to call in. I was at Bucks County River Country going down that, the tubing with 3 couples, me and Greg, and then 2 other couples. And for some reason, everyone decided to put all of their stuff in a bag that I was holding. So we're feeling loose. We're having a good time. You bring a couple drinks and stuff onto this. And I was taking a selfie with my phone, and I dropped the bag with everyone's key fobs, cell phones, and wallets into the water.
Oh, my God.
And it was just gone. Gone.
Kim.
And I had my phone, of course, because I was taking a picture of myself.
No.
Oh, no.
And then we finally, and this was like, we still had an hour left to go down the river. So everybody it just ruined the day.
Just pissed the whole time.
Oh, my God.
So,
and then we got to the end, and I had to call my dad, and we're like a bunch of 30-year-old people sitting there in our bathing suits. We can't get in our cars. We're soaking wet. And we had to wait for him to come pick us up, and we all had to pile into a car and get driven back to South Philly.
So obviously, the water's too deep, right? Did you knew at the moment?
One of the guys tried to jump out, but the current was too strong. And it was about 6 feet deep in that spot, and there was just no way.
No, people do die. They get it's deceptive. As you said, Chuck, you're in up to your chin, but you could feel the current. Yeah. All right, man, that sucks.
That sucks so bad.
Yeah.
Are they still friends with you, Kim?
They one of the couples is.
That's not bad. One of the 3 couples.
They still have to remind you of it from time to time, though, right?
Yes, yeah. It's definitely it gets brought up.
Oh my
frequently.
God!
And by the way, good rule of advice is good rule of thumb: don't be the one who accepts holding everyone else's stuff.
Yes, just don't take that
No,
responsibility
I'm not going to
on.
take that risk.
All right, Kim, we love you. We'll talk to you soon. All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Talk to you
Bye-bye.
soon. Bye.
By the way, Kim's the one who sang the Harry Ballsack song. Her husband, Greg.
If you want to hear that,
Casey can pull that up real quick if you. Yeah. This
beautiful.
was this is Kim and her husband, and another one of the singers.
Harry Ballsack, Harry Ballsack.
Harry Ballsack, Harry Ballsack, Harry Ballsack, Harry Ballsack, hey, you Harry Ballsack,
hairy ballsack, Casey boy. And when you my hairy ballsack, my hairy ballsack, I'll enjoy.
Okay, beautiful.
But it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Like their voices are so nice.
Is that peppy up, Chuck?
If you didn't speak English, you'd be like, oh, that's pretty song.
It's like that Brazilian song.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
probably what they're singing.
Which, by the way, Marissa printed up the lyrics, and it's just a love song.
Oh.
There's nothing.
Not a chicken finger in it.
It doesn't have anything to do with sports or just it's a love song.
It's like, yeah.
Let me hang on. Let's go to this call. I have Jessica. Hi, Jessica. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Wonderful, Jessica. What's up?
Well, I was calling because years ago when I moved into my first apartment with my roommate, there was an outdoor storage unit we didn't know about in our first floor condo. So apparently somebody had been using that as probably somebody without a home had been using it and left behind materials. And one of the things that they left behind was a wallet. And so it had been we researched and found the owner of this wallet and returned it to her, but it had been stolen missing for over a year at that point. So she was really excited that she got back her wallet, I think, just to have that closure. Yeah. And we didn't take anything from it, but she did give us a finder's fee.
How much was the finder's fee?
I think it was like $50 or something.
That's not bad.
Well, that's
yeah.
nice.
Not bad, just for being a good citizen, right?
Jessica, was there anything valuable in it?
At that point, I don't think so, but I do think there was obviously something. This was 20 years ago, but there was obviously something with names on it that we were able to use the early age internet.
Okay,
there was a Fabergé egg in it.
No, that's cool. Good for you. Nice job.
That is cool. Yeah, you don't know. I mean, so anytime you find something like this, think about the panic you've gone through if you've lost your wallet or whatever, and try to put yourself in that person's shoes. Take the money out of the wallet for sure, but return the rest of it to them.
Take the money.
Take the
money. Take the money.
Take the f***ing money. Take the f***ing money. Take the f***ing money.
That's Whitey Bulger, and he's somebody you can admire.
I'm going to go to Liz. Hi, Liz. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, what's up, Liz?
So I lost so many cell phones in a period of time that the insurance company dropped me.
You lost so many cell phones in a period of time that your insurance company dropped you?
They did.
How many phones?
I couldn't even tell you.
So is this your homeowner's insurance?
No, the
cell phone insurance.
The cell phone insurance.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God.
Did any of them succumb to a watery grave like Chuck's?
I don't think so. The worst one was I was at University City train station, and I dropped the phone on the platform, and it bounced. And everyone who was standing on the platform kind of did a collective, and then it bounced right over onto the tracks.
Oh.
Just as a train was.
Oh, my God! Dude, it's like cell phone death by train.
Well, that's what I thought. And then I got a phone call from someone who said that they had my cell phone. And I thought it was so kind of them. So I'm talking to them on, I think, my home phone at the time. And I didn't realize that they were trying to sell me back my phone.
Right.
That sucks.
I just kept asking them, oh, do you work in the University City? Where can I meet you? That's so kind of you. I wasn't getting it, and they finally just hung up on me.
Yeah, a lot of times they've also tampered with those phones that they try to sell back. As part of the scam is that they would rig them so that...
I had no idea. Well, I was so oblivious that they got tired of me and hung up.
Liz, how long has it been since you're incident free of losing a phone?
It's been a while.
Couple years?
There's this great product. I don't even know how you say it. Bandolier, maybe?
Okay.
And it actually has the strap, and you attach your phone to it.
Okay.
And I literally
So
wear my phone.
You actually...
And it saves me all the time.
You strap the phone to yourself.
Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, right?
I have to connect
That or a hoodie pocket.
Liz, thank you. We appreciate it. If you're just tuning in, Chuck he has a pontoon boat and was strapping these covers on the seats, leaned over, fell out of his pocket, phone, wallet, bottom of the bay in North Wildwood.
You know what's funny is I've been on your boat 2, maybe 3 times so far.
I've never been on your boat.
Every time
that's
though.
fair, and the three of you live in the same
Yeah, we're
town.
right near
nice.
each other. Yeah.
Thank you, Kathy.
What?
Isn't Chuck is your best friend though, right?
Listen, he has things at his house that we don't get invited to all the time.
What are the things that Preston doesn't?
I'm not going to get butthurt about it. We're down there.
I think Casey was going to make a point.
I was going to make a point.
Casey's point.
That I leave my car keys on the front tire of my car because I don't want it anywhere near the water. I just leave them there because I just want to be able to. Now I've got to bring my phone because I got to take pictures for memories and stuff. But like, I'm not going to bring a wallet with me because
you leave your keys on the front tire of your car.
Yeah.
When
now we know how to steal your car.
Yeah. If you can find out where it is, like it's
you're not
back
gonna
in
find
this
this place.
area that like nobody. The only people that ever park back in this, it's really, really off the beaten path, and it's just where people live.
It's hard to find.
It's.
We should probably give out the address.
Well, I mean, I'll give out the address. I don't really care. Nobody's going to come and steal my car. They don't even know when I'm going to be on the boat. But anyway, I leave the car keys on so I don't drop them into the bay accidentally.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I heard this guy on the radio say he keeps his keys in the front tire. Let me check. It is!
I completely forgot about this story. Do we have time real quick for another lost cell phone story? Okay, it was at an Eagles game. A friend of mine goes into the porta pot to go to the bathroom. Now, he carries two phones, one for work and a personal phone. And stupidly, and I've seen him do it a number of times, when he, like, if he's doing something with both of his hands, he puts the phones under his chin.
Oh, man.
Okay, so he did that in the porta pot at the Eagles game. The phone goes into the port, just drops. Kerplunk,
At an Eagles game?
like at Eagles.
It literally has all the poop in the world in it.
Casey, you
Oh
are
my
right.
God.
And the worst kind of poop.
And so gone, completely gone. Like, you got to be kidding me.
Football poop.
Of course, it was the work phone. You know.
Okay.
So
Steve, it was corn on the cob day.
Corn on the cob. Oh my God! Looked like a Jackson Pollock.
So listen, he is called to the IT office at work, and they're like, "Hey, somebody called. They found your phone."
Oh.
I don't know what was stored in the phone that they were able to get a hold of it. I know what it was. Someone from work was calling the phone
While it was in the.
Someone answered it.
No.
Somebody answered it, right? So all these things happen, put it together, and the person gets the phone sent back to them. And he called, and he was like, how? Because they gave a number and said, hey, if he wants to retrieve it, here's the number. He called the number, and he was like, how did you get this phone? And the guy said, I don't know.
With my mouth?
No, it was at the link, and he said somebody turned it into us. So the only thing he said that he could think of is that he said there's no way someone found it or pulled it out of the porta pot. Is there some sort of like filtering process or something when they come and empty the porta pots?
They pump them out. They take big hoses and pump them out.
And so when he opened the Ziploc bag, he said it smelled like crap and like that, whatever that blue crap is that so he's like, it definitely was in there, has no clue how it got
Every
out
time
and back to him.
I'm taking a dump in one of those porta pots and the phone that's in there, there's somebody's left a phone. I never pick it up.
No. Well, if you do, at least answer via speaker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hands free.
Let me go to Jason. Similar story. Hi, Jason. You're on the air.
Hey guys, good morning.
Hey, what's up, bud? That's all good, my man. What's your story?
This one is for Kathy. Much like her friend's story with the porta pot, my sister was at a soccer tournament in hot Arizona, went into the porta pot to help her 5-year-old daughter. Phone fell out of her front pocket and there's no way she was leaving that phone behind.
Yeah, she was in another city. Okay, it makes sense.
She was at a chili cook-off.
No, I would have died.
So what did she do?
She went diving for it, grabbed it with her arm, and fished it out.
Oh,
no.
my God.
Licked it clean.
Oh.
No.
Oh, that's gnarly, Jason. That is absolutely gnarly.
And no running water to wash it off at these kind of events, as you guys can imagine.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to wash it off, so I can always remember.
So that's the, like there's this new, I don't want to call it a trend on social media, but when you're talking about whether or not to get rid of something that's at your house, you know, like you're like, do I need this?
Yeah.
The question you have to ask yourself is, if I drop this in a pile of poop, would I just throw it away or would I clean the poop off? And if you say I just throw it away, then just get rid of it.
That would mean that literally everything I own I would throw away. I'm sorry. As long as there are brand new clean ones, I'll get those.
Do I really need this car?
I'm going to go to...
I don't want it. It was in poop.
I want to see what this is about. Hi, Linda. You're on the air. Good morning.
Hey, I live down here in Chambersburg, and I miss Philly, but I listen to MMR every day.
Thank you, Linda.
I used to be up in Hatboro, and I used to call once in a while. But my husband, who's no longer with us now, he back in the 80s, this is way back, but he lost his wallet. We're both blind. But he lost his, and we had our guide dogs with us, and I guess he lost it in Market East Station. It was back when it was called that. Mm-hmm. So he gets home. He says, "Oh my gosh, my wallet's gone." I said, "Oh, you fell out of your pocket." And so we thought, when he was going to cancel. I guess we had credit cards then and everything. And his number was on a card in his wallet, and we got a phone call from this guy with an accent. We were like, "What?" And he says, "I found your wallet. So if you would come down to the train station, we set up a time. I will give it back to you." And we were reluctant, but we thought, "Oh, well, okay." And we somehow got the schedule set up, and he took the train back down the next day and got the wallet back.
Huh.
And the dude said, and the money was still there. It's like $60, $70 in there. And
so
the guy was so nice.
Wow.
And it sort of restores your faith in humanity.
Yeah. So forgive me for asking, but you were blind at the time this happened?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We were married for 40 years.
Okay.
And we were both blind. And
imagine even if he had some sort of nefarious plan in mind, and you see that the dude's blind, and what kind of scumbag would go?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Wow.
But he had the dog, and the dog was big, So
that helps too.
He
Yeah,
changed his mind at the last minute. All right, nice, good story. Thank you, Linda. We appreciate it.
Righto. Bye-bye.
All right, take care. All right. Line 7 case?
Yeah.
All right, let me go to him. Hi, Eric. Good morning.
Hey, Eric. Good morning.
Hey, what's up, bud?
So I didn't lose anything, but about 10 years ago, it was Black Friday night. We were in Toys R Us, and some lady in front of me dropped a Coach wristlet with $10,000 in it. It still had like the bank
seal
thing on it. Yeah. And it was just normal reaction. As I was walking, I picked it up and said, "Here, excuse me, miss." She didn't even say thank you.
Huh.
Mm. How did you know that there was $10,000 in it?
Well, you could see it wasn't zipped. And you could see, the paper things they put around the money?
The bank?
The band. $10,000.
I knew. And I turned to my wife, and she, it was so ignorant not to even say thank you. I mean, I could have kept it, but the right thing to do was hand it back.
You didn't even flirt with the notion of pushing her down and taking the bag back?
No.
Okay.
But I don't think I would give it back today after that.
That's it. Good rule of advice. You find $10,000, you keep it, because the person who owns it's a prick.
Mine.
So you're saying not saying thank you is worth $10,000.
Yeah, and she was dressed. She had leather, knee-high, boots on.
So she was a slut.
Yeah. But
the slut's not getting her 10 grand back.
Slutty millionaire doesn't have...
Yeah, just a thank you would be nice.
I
hear it. I hear it. All right, thank you, Eric. We
Rich sluts.
All right, let's go to another call. I have Paul who's been on hold for a while. Paul, you are on the air. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys. It's Tomato Pie Paul. What's happening?
Hi, Paul. My name is Pecos Pete.
Brought some tomato pie out to Nick at the Cardboard Classic. What's up, man?
First of all, I can't believe that Kathy said the Harry Balsack song is actually pretty.
Their voices. I said their voices are pretty.
So dating back to probably the mid-'90s or so, I had the good fortune of going to a few Giants games. I know that would be Casey would love to hear that one. But
yeah.
From some season ticket holders that we had here in Dover, Delaware, some good friends of my in-laws at the time. And anyway, probably the 5th or 6th game that I had an opportunity to go to. And we were in the 200 level. Same people around you all the time, season ticket holders up there. Always a good time. But this one time we go up, of course, I'm up to my usual no good. I'm drinking beers and whatever else I'm doing at the time. But we're on our way back, and we pull over so we can get a snack or something somewhere, and I go to reach for my wallet. Well, it's gone. Wallet's gone. I'm like, oh, no, you got to be kidding me. So we start looking everywhere. We're traveling as a group. Started looking everywhere. Can't find a damn thing. And sure enough, I had lost my wallet. So here I am, probably 3 days later. This is before cell phones. So I'm sitting at work. I'm making phone calls, trying to cancel credit cards, whatever the case might be. All of a sudden, the FedEx envelope shows up at my work, and here's my wallet in it. Everything's still in it, including the $60 cash and a note that says, "I hope you enjoyed the game."
Oh, that's nice.
Why is the standard amount of money clearly kept in a wallet $60?
$60.
Yeah.
Back in the day, that was enough.
That's it.
I think it's about 3 in a row we've had.
It was the age of $60.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's cool. And you never found out who sent that back to you, Paul?
I don't. They didn't leave their name or anything like that, but I had to assume it was the one guy who sat behind me, and I wish I could remember the phrase he used to use every time there was a bad play with the Giants. It was like this annoying New York, just total like, you guys suck, whatever it was. But,
yeah.
But
It was very creative.
One of those couple guys. It was pretty good. Restore your faith in humanity a little bit back then, even.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
He
Thanks,
had a
Paul.
way with words. He
Appreciate
would say,
it.
"You guys suck."
Yeah. All right. Well, anyhow, so we have a few good stories there.
You think there's any chance a FedEx package shows up today?
Yes.
From
today.
a flounder?
It's filled with poop.
All right. Well, sorry for your loss, Chuck.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate
it. You're on the way to getting everything back. So.
Oh, yeah.
This is Chuck's theme
This
song.
is Chuck's theme.
All right. Chuck D'Amico, program director of WMMR, sharing his story this morning. We are going to take a break, and one thing that Chuck's worked very, very hard on is the Back to School A to Z, and we'll have the next song in the O's where we are now for you. Stay put. We'll be right back.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMM.
A lot of what your career has become. However, in 2022, you're sitting on a tour bus and you're Zooming with us, and we're in completely different states. So obviously, and in many ways, the technology over that amount of time has changed vastly, which allows you to tell the story in many different ways. Which part of the technology advancements that we've had over the last 2 decades is most appealing for Coheed and Cambria? Which part of it is just kind of a distraction? Like, what have you guys really embraced? And you're like, oh my God, this is a really great way for us to tell the story in a way that we really want to.
I mean, I always want to see it kind of get played out in a live action, just in the simplest form, whether it be television or movie. But there's so many other things now we have VR, we have metaverses, we have all sorts of stuff. And I think there's a lot of source material for us to draw from, and again, like that was never really my approach. It was really just to make, comic books, essentially, just to tell these stories in a different way, watch them get up off the record and come to life. And now it's like, yeah, sure, movies and television, but there's so many other places to stretch.
Yeah.
So it's really hard for me to wrap my head around all of them. But, at this stage, I mean, I'd like to do everything. I mean, I think these characters are, I think the characters are really, when I see our fans and I see them resonate with certain characters, that's so insane to me, because I never anticipated that. I never anticipated anybody to see themselves connect with a character. That was just not on the top of my head. And like, when you see that fans have like a favorite, like you have Ambelina on their arm, or, Willem Ryan, and, it's just like, wow, that's like me resonating with like Freddy Krueger or Darth Vader. It's so cool.
No, absolutely.
I want to talk about the fandom for a second here, and I'm going to lead this part by saying that we got a tweet from a fellow musician, Claudio. It is a Peanut from 311, and he's listening right now. So he tweeted at us. So I wanted to give a shout out to Peanut, who's listening this morning. But you mentioned the fandom, and I'm going to give you an example. And this is a killing two birds with one stone, because I want to thank this listener. This morning I came in and there was a box sitting over here in the studio, and I'm like, well, what the hell's that? And I open it up, and first of all, it is a 4-pack of the Rush beer. All right, that was sent to me. All right, and it came with a letter. It says, Preston, a beer to share with a fellow Rush fan. These are not for export in the USA, so I coordinated a delivery from Henderson Brewing Company in Toronto to an associate's friend in Ontario. It was then driven from Ontario to Michigan to his mother's house.
Oh, my God.
A work associate drove from Michigan to Ohio. From Ohio, it was driven to Harrisburg, where I picked it up, and I drove it home to Langhorne, PA, and I now share a few with you. That is from Dean Gutierrez, an MMR listener. And so the reason I bring this up, A, I wanted to thank Dean, and second of all, in the world of progressive rock, there is a connection with the fans that I think is unique to itself. And because of conceptual works like you guys do, Claudio, there's further discussion about the music other than, I really like that song. Man, that rhythm's great. Or this guitar part's really awesome. You start talking about the subtext of the characters and the stories and all that stuff. And it just makes for a really special fan base. And I wanted to get, your impressions on that.
Yes, we are so fortunate. I mean, our fan base is just amazing that they get into all of those sorts of things. Like last fall, we did a cruise that sold out, and everyone was super respectful. It was just, it's more of a family. We see the same faces a lot of the time. We've created relationships with our fans. It's something that, again, like I just never thought I could only have dreamed of.
Right.
And it's like it's like happening.
I wonder,
we're lucky in it.
I wonder, Claudio, how much of that connects to, and you come from a point of being shy. And and I did stand-up comedy. I'm doing this now, but initially I was kind of shy. And I think there's something, I think, that draws a certain. You don't want to make blanket statements. It's for everybody, obviously, if you enjoy. But I think you're probably connecting in a way, because that's well known about you and your impetus for starting all this. That the people who don't feel that there's something quite for them, you're providing that. I mean, on a basic level, we can sense your joy over being able to do that. Would that be your greatest accomplishment, you believe, touching people who maybe up to now haven't found that thing that resonates for them?
I think so, absolutely. I mean, it's also like, it also provides something for me. Like, again, going and being shy, it's like it's hard for me to walk into a room of people I don't know and be a personality. I tend to kind of cower off, and that's the whole idea of being, the Coheed line of one among the fence. I'm the one, at the dance, like, I'm the wallflower. It's just not for me to be a loud personality, and being on stage allows me to do that, and it allows me to be around people with like-minded thing. And sure, maybe it's something that I created that everyone's into, but it allows me to like kind of be open. It's a starting place for a conversation and friendship. So yeah, maybe that is, I created friends.
You did. You clearly did.
If you're just tuning in, it's Claudio Sanchez, who's with Coheed and Cambria, and they're going to be in town in July. Tickets go on sale with the show at the Leah Corr Center tomorrow at 10 a.m. We played the song Shoulders as we were leading into the interview. You guys have a new song called The Liars Club. I saw the video, really cool animation. And like I said at the top, Claudio, not being aware of the full body of work of Coheed and Cambria, Liars Club seems like it has a different tone to it from the other songs that I've kind of skimmed through in your catalog. Dare I say, a little poppier. I mean, I'm trying to think of a better term, but what's the story behind the song and the sound of it all?
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of this material was written pre-pandemic, through the pandemic, and I was just kind of open to all ideas. I figured, here's an opportunity for me to flex. Even Shoulders feels like a very new version. I mean, when that song was written, it was, primarily because, our A&R had threw this idea at me. I was up for the challenge. I created it. I put it aside. It wasn't going to happen, and then I brought it to my co-producer, Zach Cervini, and he was like, wow, this is a vibe that's not on the record. We should work with this. And that became a song. And kind of the same thing for Liars Club, although Liars Club, I think, was a little more immediate because I knew that was, I thought that was a theme that I really wanted to express on the record. Like, who doesn't want to, like, embrace the lie sometimes, when reality just isn't, the way you see it.
No, I was just wondering, as you were talking and talking about that in Preston's question, and you mentioned Star Wars earlier. We have obviously know you're a fan. I think of George Lucas, who had the original vision, and perhaps tries to go in different ways. And he got eaten alive by his own fan base. Do you feel you get the latitude from your fan base to go out on these sort of creative ventures that might depart slightly from your sound.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, because it's not something that's foreign from what we've done. I mean, it's definitely we're definitely stretching with this new record more so than we have in the past. But we've also laid the groundwork in past records to do things like this. Like if you guys fall into the discography at all, you find songs like Evagria or Number City. These are all songs that really kind of stretch outside of like what the comfort nucleus of what Coheed and Cambria does. So we're always kind of breaking out of that a bit. But we do it more so with this record. And I think it's really more appropriate because of the theme of the album, because the mind is opening up for this one character, and we're starting to realize that it experiences infinite. Like all infinite outcomes, this one character of Baxis is like, consumed with, like, instead of seeing the world as we see it, he sees it as maybe the static of a television, because he can see every outcome at one moment.
Sounds like Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
Right. But almost so much more that he physically can't interact with any of them, if that makes any sense, into like a catatonic state, because it's so consuming, so overwhelming. And that's why I think, it made sense conceptually to really kind of step outside of, like I said, the nucleus of what we do and kind of stretch. Like you'll hear songs like Disappearing Act, which really kind of stretches the Window of the Waking Mind. There's all sorts of stuff on this record. I'm really, really proud of it. And Liars Club, I thought, was a really cool, like, statement to put out there, just to kind of get everyone's feet wet,
I love these concepts. It's really deep and heady stuff, but let's go back just a little bit. Did your old band break up because of an argument over gas money? Is that correct?
No, I don't know what. No, but where's that from? That's like a Quidditch question.
Wikipedia. It was on Wikipedia. Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute.
We're like, what? So we definitely almost broke up because of there were several moments, but like, to be completely honest, like when Coheed first started back in 2002, like the attention to the band was so intense. Like we would play shows and opening for bands, and we would play, and once we were done, like the place would empty.
Oh.
It was like severe. Like we had no idea that we had that impact at that time. And so it really got to me as like the guy with the hair, the focus point. It like, I didn't realize like how much of a magnet I would become. And it kind of scared me. Like so much so that, I broke down, and Gas Money wasn't never, that might have been like, who the hell knows? I have no idea. But for real, like, my mentality was like disintegrating. Like,
wow.
Coming from like a person that, again, like I am very much an introvert. It was really hard to be like, to have that so much attention when I grew up in my adolescence with none.
Huh.
So, yeah.
Were you guys friends first or bandmates first, do you think?
Travis and I have been friends since we were 13. Like I met him, through a mutual friend who wanted to start a band. So I guess we were bandmates before we even became friends, if that makes any sense. Before we even met, we were going to be in a band. But Travis is like Travis is my brother. I mean, it's so wild how like insane and in sync we are, and how at one point we want to kiss each other, and at another point we want to just strangle each other. I mean, it's like, yeah. So we've been friends forever. Josh, I had known because our bands had played together. He was in a different band, and our scenes had crossed paths. And I remember this one story when Josh and I were we were drinking one time after a show. We were in different bands at the time, and we were on the side of a house, urinating or whatever. And I said to him, and his band, to be honest, had been signed to Universal already. They were off and about to become something, but things had happened. And I had said to him, I said, one day we're going to play in a band together. And he was like, yeah, right. Like, because their career was starting, and here we are. So Josh is, Josh, I guess we had been friends, I guess in a band first. I'm not entirely sure how to answer that, but to be honest, like Josh, just to go off, I play in a band with like some of the greatest musicians. I think they're in my opinion, I think they're very underrated. They don't really get like Josh. I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever seen us play, but he's like one of the worst parts of my job is I don't really get to watch Josh play because he's just such a animated, beautiful piece of art when he's behind the kit. And, I just think he needs more recognition as well as Travis. Just very interesting people. And Zach is actually the newest member of the band. I mean, well, when you say that, it's like 10 years because our original bass player got arrested for robbing a Walgreens. I don't know if you guys know that.
Yeah. That's better than the gas money story.
We were aware.
No, but it's interesting how, you evolve as a band and how you have to like learn how to like be around each other in a whole bunch of different settings. You're talking about tour buses, pre-show, on stage, post-show. And, these are things that you just sort of have to like learn about each other. And, you didn't make a vow to one another, on an altar in front of a whole bunch of people, but like you want to make this work because it did work at a certain point. So, the band today is different than the band 5 years ago, is different than the band 10 years ago. And do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I totally know what you mean because it's nobody really understands like what it's like to be locked in a van, right? That's how we came up. It was, 5 guys in a van, well, initially, 5 guys, one, and 4 members. But you start to see personalities and people like, you become family, it's like, living with, who you're blood born to be with. Now you're in a band doing that, and the quarters are way smaller, But, right? So it's like, and
Thanks so much, Kathy. Just a reminder, Word of the Week prize this week. Really cool setup. 4-pack of tickets for the just announced and already sold out Linkin Park concert. It's a week from today. It's this coming Monday, September 16th at Barclays Center in Brooklyn. So this is really cool. So hang on for the letter at the end of the program. And we're finally back to 5-letter words.
Yeah, that's right.
Our little vacation here and there extravaganza off and on is over with as we are heading into fall now. So keep in mind, 5 letters for our word of the week. You know what we haven't done in a while? We haven't noticed things in a while.
What?
And I think it's time for the notice there. What?
Down an empty alleyway, across an empty field. I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah. He notices so you don't have to.
Yeah.
The noticer.
All right,
I spent all weekend noticing.
I actually
the things he's noticed.
It's actually something I noticed last week.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't get a chance to pass this along. This is from Travel and Leisure.
My favorite.
Great magazine, actually. And they know about, trendy restaurants, entertainment, hotels.
They notice things.
All that stuff. They have celebrated visiting some less visited donations that people may not know about. And it's their second annual list of America's best small towns. And it spotlights locations worth checking out for their natural beauty, outdoor adventure.
This is right in my wheelhouse.
Specific interest. Well, then you're in luck because one of them is in our area.
Okay. So I'd been talking about during the summer vacation that we had. I had on the books to go to Jim Thorpe, which I've only been through in passing and didn't spend a lot of time there. And everyone raves about it. We talked about it. And so I love those little hamlets that have so much to offer. So there's one right in our area?
Yeah.
Is it more of does it have, because I know my favorite small town around this area, I just love Narberth. But
Narberth is great.
Yeah, it's such a cute small little town.
Bill Weston lives.
I would love to live in that little area, after, empty nester or whatever. But that, I don't think, fits into what your criteria is over there.
Maybe not. So these are categorized, but they polled their contributors, trusted travel advisors, and industry leaders from across the country, a panel of experts made up of editors and travel advisors who specialize in domestic travel.
Okay.
Comb through the nominees to decide the winners. And each small town on the list has a full-time population of fewer than 25,000 residents.
Wow, so they are small.
And then they break them down to categories. And so the category that a local area ended up on this list is America's best small arts and culture town.
Ooh.
Take a guess as to what you think that would be.
Small arts and culture town.
Yeah.
Small arts and culture town.
I'm thinking like New Hope or
Chestnut Hill? maybe.
I thought New Hope
Chestnut
in the
Hill's good.
beginning.
Chestnut Hill's probably too big.
Yeah, it wasn't until you said small arts and culture that I changed my answer.
So you've written down this?
Yes.
Swarthmore.
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Small little town.
Okay.
It's a cute
a lot
little
of arts and culture.
They have that like art. There is some sort of like art community there.
Okay.
They have a group.
Yeah,
They have an
just
Applebee's.
Feel like it.
But I don't know. It's just that town. I think it's Delaware County art something. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's a group.
I think New Hope was a good call.
Yeah.
Well, New Hope is it.
Hey! Kathy!
Got it right. Yeah. So that makes total sense. America's best small arts and culture town. This is taken the entire nation.
Yeah, we're not screwing around.
And they have narrowed it down to that, which is great. And
I love
you know
New
what?
Hope.
And when I read this last week, I'm like, I haven't been to New Hope. Well, we went to New Hope last year for Peddler's Village and a Christmas little stop by there, but I haven't gone in warmer months in a long, long, long time.
It's wonderful. You remember my last attempt to go to New Hope where I ended up in Newtown.
Yeah.
Totally had a brain fart.
Yeah.
Wow, this is much different.
Did they change this?
Much different. Not as many Warlock stores.
You know what I love is I love a town center, right? Like if you were to go, and you see like I don't know, like maybe the town like administrative building and with almost like Back to the Future. You go to that little area, they have that little square. There's a few areas around here that have stuff like that. Preston, if you are ever driving down the shore and you're down the AC Expressway, if you duck off, I think it's exit 17, and you kind of duck off and go right, you end up at this cute little town with the cute little town center. Like, I just love that stuff.
We represent the Lollipop Guild.
Which town is it?
I couldn't tell you. You know what? If I looked at a map, I would tell. What's that?
But you've been there?
I drive through it.
Did you dream of it?
I drive through it. No, it's just places that like you drive through and you go, oh, this is really, really cute.
Wait, tell me again which exit?
All right, go exit 17. So once you go through you go past Frank S. Farley, you go through the toll plaza. It's the exit right after that toll plaza.
So you haven't made it to the AC airport yet?
No, I don't think so.
Is it Brigadoon?
No. You know what? You guys continue to talk, and I
want to know what it is. I'm really curious.
Brigadoon is a town where no one ever ages.
No one ages.
That's. I want to find that.
It's off the Frank S. Farley.
No, I do like the smaller, like you said, hamlets, little villages.
There's a whole bunch of them.
Chestnut Hill, Skip Back Out Our Way is one of them as well. Phoenixville is turned into. It's a little bit larger, but I love spots like that who have a definitive, like a strip, like an area that is. This is downtown. Ambler is another great one. There's some really good stuff there.
The Colebrookdale is Boyertown, right? Where that is?
Boyertown.
Boyertown has that exactly what you're talking about, Preston. That wonderful little, bucolic sort of rustic
that you can walk through.
Yes,
restaurant to restaurant, shop
easy
to shop,
shoplift,
stuff like that.
Yeah.
You can scam stuff and not get caught. That's the fun part about it.
Wayne has that. Wayne, PA. That's a nice walking town, and I live not too far from there. And that's like you can walk to the train station. You can walk to a bunch of bars and restaurants. It's one of the advantages.
Media as well.
Media for sure.
Media has become quite a little a hot spot.
Yeah.
What did you find it, Nick?
Is it Smithville, Casey?
It might be Smithville.
All right.
There is water near there.
Okay.
We need water.
We're going to need some water.
This town is dying.
Water in general?
No, I mean just like
a body.
Where's the water?
Like a fountain?
All right. So let me rattle off some of the other categories and the winners there.
Are they mostly by weight?
No, they're not by weight at all. America's best small beach town is Paia, Maui.
Anything Maui is going to be wonderful.
America's best small mountain town is Island Park, Idaho. America's best small lake town is Harbor Springs, Michigan. And listen, you're not going to know most of these. They're small towns.
25,000 people or less.
America's best small desert town is Brisbee, Arizona.
Oh, I've been there.
Oh, I've
been there.
You know who lives there? Oh, you've been there?
Yes.
For like comedy?
They used yes, actually it was. The first time we went there, they were a copper mining town.
Okay.
And then when the copper mining industry went away, it's a very cool town.
All I know is that's where Doug Stanhope's mom lived.
Yeah.
The comedian.
Yeah.
That's all
Oh,
I
really?
know.
It is a cool
Did
town.
he tell stories about it or something?
Yeah, because I think they euthanized her. It was her own. Like
Against her will?
No. She did it on her own. But yeah, she was in bad shape, and
okay, so like
he tells the story.
What do they call it? It's a assisted suicide type thing. Okay,
Is it Bisbee or Brisbee?
This is Brisbee, Brisbee.
Oh,
because this on the map it says. Well, I don't know who. Somebody's wrong because on the map it says Bisbee.
Did you type in Brisbee?
I did. Yeah.
Okay, then maybe it might be a typo.
Does Bisbee mention anything about copper?
Look,
Copper Mining Town. Does it mention that I was there?
No.
Hang on, Casey. Somebody wants to comment on what you might be thinking of. I'm going to go to Billy. Oh, Billy.
Oh, Billy.
Good morning to you, Billy.
Oh, Billy.
Hey, what's up, bud?
Love the show.
Appreciate
awesome.
that.
Thank you.
So it's Mays Landing, New Jersey, where he's talking about.
Mays Landing.
That's a really cute town.
Is what
And
Casey's.
there's a great, just since you guys are all foodies, there's a great place called the Inn at Sugar Hill Inn. The Inn at Sugar Hill, amazing subs. Great little town.
Okay.
All right.
Excellent.
Interesting.
Appreciate that,
Does
Billy.
that sound right, Kate? Casey?
And we're going to echo that with the actual mayor of Millville, New Jersey, who is on the line. Yeah, I'm going to go to the mayor. Is this Ben?
Yes, this is. How are you doing, Preston?
Good. Ben, what's your last name?
I'm Mayor Benjamin Romanick of the city of Millville, New Jersey.
Mayor.
Wow. Hey, do you know Mike Trout?
Yeah, well, personally or socially or what?
Nah, it doesn't matter. I shouldn't have said anything. Back to you, Preston.
How long have you been mayor, Ben?
I've been, officially the title is mayor. This is my third year in office. I've been mayor since March 20th of this year.
Congratulations.
And what is the population of the town?
Millville is 44 square miles. We have approximately 27,500 residents.
So you're 2,000 over this list because 25,000 and lower. But Casey, does this sound right?
No. Ben wants to say that we're thinking of Mays Landing, but I just wanted to go him because he's a mayor.
Yeah. Well, I'm in South Jersey. We obviously know a lot of other
Okay.
municipalities. So that exit 17 is Casey's correct. That's Route 50. 50 goes right through downtown Mays Landing.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, I'm looking at the intersection right now, Mayor Ben. It's the intersection of Cape May Avenue and Main Street is where the the town center is.
Yeah, that little park right there on your left-hand side.
It's straight out of Back to the Future. Like you want to save the clock tower. What'd you say?
I definitely get that vibe.
Okay, yeah. I love that little town vibe. It's just.
Ben, does Millville have a little town square like that?
Not necessarily what Casey is describing. We do have a downtown at Millville High Street that runs through any downtown. We have High Street. Businesses are, there's a great Mexican restaurant. It's called El Guacamole. If you're ever in Millville, go check it out.
It seems wonderful. I understand it is a very quaint, very, Americana sort of place. In fact, the town prostitute is a virgin. So
Which is rare.
Which is rare.
Very rare.
Shows you how really good.
No, that's why I took off with the Blue Angels was in Millville.
Oh, really?
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got Millville Municipal Airport or Millville Executive Airport.
We know a mayor.
Ben, thanks for checking in. We do appreciate that. Keep up the great work.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
All right. See you later, man. All right.
That's cool.
Yeah. Want to answer Steve's earlier question. Bisbee, Arizona was founded as a copper, gold, and silver mining town in 1880, Steve. So, yeah, it is the county seat in Cochise County in southeastern Arizona.
You know what's cool about it, Nick? There are a number of the buildings and everything that are actually that are built into the cliff walls.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which is very nice.
So yeah, this must be a typo. So
Yeah.
Bisbee, Arizona. So here a few more of these, and then we'll move on to another thing that I noticed. America's best small food and wine town is Elk, California.
I think we would have a number of contenders here for that. Right?
Yes, you would think so, right?
Elk, California. I assume we're talking. Are we talking? Obviously Northern California, probably.
Probably. I think if we're talking about wine.
Yeah.
America's best small spa and wellness town,
Kathy,
is in Ouray, Colorado.
Ouray. Yeah, I love Ouray. It's a great town. It's on the other side of the mountain from Telluride, and Telluride is like really rich and fancy, and then Ouray is this mining town. But I've done a lot of climbing there. It's a lot of fun, and at Ouray they have the world's most famous two or three-legged dog. No, two-legged dog. It's so exciting. I'm so excited by this.
What's most famous two-legged dog?
Two-legged dog. Stevie has his back legs, and he walks on his back legs up and down the street in
I love it.
Ouray, Colorado. If you go, make sure to say hi to the two-legged dog.
Okay, please do.
We're here to see the dog. It died.
By the way, we now have the former Mays Landing mayor on the line, and actually the Atlantic County Commissioner.
Oh.
This is Amy who's on the line. Hi, Amy. Good morning.
Hi, guys. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Well, thank you.
The political elites that we're meeting today.
Amazing. When were you the mayor of Mays Landing?
I was the mayor of Mays Landing in 2011 and 2013. I served on council there for about 9 years, and now I'm an Atlantic County Commissioner. I've been on the Board of Commissioners since 2016.
Wow. Well, Amy, I definitely drove through your beautiful town while you were mayor. It was one of those, like, the Atlantic City Expressway and Garden State Parkway are going to get backed up right now. So let me just kind of duck off. And, I ended up meandering my way through Mains Landing and into Summers Point.
We're looking at your picture right now, Amy.
Yeah.
Amy, yes, very nice.
Thank you. Yeah, we are a great historic town. We have a ton of natural resources. You probably went by Lake Lenape and the Greater Egg Harbor River when you mentioned that you were on Route 50 and Cape May Ave. Casey, I grew up right downtown there in Mays Landing. My grandfather was born on Main Street. So we're just a great, quaint little town. The former caller mentioned the Inn at Sugar Hill. That has a really awesome history. So would love to have you guys come down and visit anytime and show you around. It's definitely an awesome place.
I don't know if you still possess the power, but could you give us all keys to the city?
I could make something happen. Absolutely. We'll give you the keys to the county. How
there
about
we go.
that?
There
Wow.
you go.
Wow.
Yeah, you're an Atlantic County Commissioner, Amy Gatto. Is that how you say your name?
That's correct. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's terrific.
Well, we'll get your contact information, Amy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Would love to meet up with you guys for
All right,
sure.
hold on just a moment. We'll have Marisa gather that information.
I don't know if I feel encouraged or terrified that people with this kind of political power listen to the show.
These elected officials, yeah. All right, a couple of other things.
Oh, we're looking at the famous two-legged dog.
Dexter.
Three-legged. It looks like 3 legs there.
Well, one is gimpy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he
It's
walks
like
in.
2, a gimp leg, and then a missing leg.
And he had no head. It's just a suction cup.
How does he do that? So, a couple of more of these. America's best small retirement town is Stuart, Florida. I don't know where that is.
Stuart.
And then America's best small college town is Clemson, South Carolina.
Okay. And that definitely has a reputation.
Yeah.
What would you say for college towns in this area?
I mean, Lewisburg, where I went to school, is really quaint. It's a really pretty town, and it's small. It's on the Susquehanna River, and it's a really beautiful college town. Swarthmore's another one.
Swarthmore College, right there. Yeah.
I don't know any of the college small towns.
Westchester's not a small town, but it's
got to be 25,000 or less.
But Westchester is it satisfies on some levels everything we're talking about. It's got a lot of character. It's walkable.
Have you guys been to Kutztown?
One time, but I've not.
Oh, wait.
But that was a long time ago.
Yes, I was there one time, and
for the Kutzoff.
My friends and I finished a bottle of Goldschlager.
Oh,
so
no.
Nick, I didn't quite see the town.
Look at my nipples!
You finished a bottle?
Friends.
How many of you?
It was a group of us, and we had gone up to visit her.
God.
She was there. We weren't. I don't even know if we were in college yet. It was bad. All I remember is sleeping in some bed and not even making it out to the party that night. And then we left the next
Anybody
morning.
up for eggs?
Yeah. Kath, I finished a bottle of Goldschlager. We were driving to Key West. I wasn't driving because I didn't have the license for the van. So I finished it basically by Maryland.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I was
Casey,
asked to leave the van.
Yeah, that was the one and only time I ever drank that. That what
Is it
God,
very potent?
It has like little gold flakes in it.
Does it really?
It's disgusting.
Not
Isn't it
familiar.
essentially
Kind
what?
of cinnamony
Yeah,
flavor.
like
It's almost
Fireball.
like Fireball.
I don't ever want to think about
But it's
that
got
again.
gold in it.
It's got to be good for you.
Fancy schmancy.
It was pretty.
Oh, yeah.
It was a pretty shot.
All right, well, those are the best small towns in
I
the
like
U.S.,
that.
and that's according to Travel and Leisure. And America's best small arts and culture town is New Hope, Pennsylvania. Thought that was pretty awesome. All right, how about, I'm going to save this other one for another time because it's already 9:40, but I do have a couple other things, and this is kind of similar to, it's one of those location destinations. I mean, this is the top 10 makeout spots in America. This is Digital News surveyed 3,000 couples. Okay.
Our office.
No, not our office.
The amount of making out.
So the winners are all out of the way and out in nature, with many in national parks and near scenic highways. So it's essentially just these romantic views that are considered, I guess, a makeout spot. So
what was the most, when you're in Hawaii, clearly you're presented with, there's a plethora.
Just beauty.
Yeah.
Plenty of beauty. And that makes, you a little amorous, I guess.
I think, well, there are locations and vistas that promote just breathing it in, and there are ones that are classic romantic, shimmering light on water. And
like when Rochelle and I are together and we see a beautiful location and we happen to notice it together, we will do it doggy style right there.
Right there.
Romance is not dead.
It's special.
Look at the Limerick plant. Let's do it.
Oh, you do it so you guys can both.
We can both see it.
Well,
that makes
not fair.
Yeah.
Watching the Discovery Channel.
Honey, when you're done doing that, lift your head up and take a look.
Bloodhound Gang?
That's right.
Yeah. So, no, but I'll make sure that we at least maybe we'll kiss. Not make out, but, this is beautiful. I love you. Kiss.
Finger stuff?
No, not finger stuff. We save that for...
look at that sunset.
We save that for dinner. But the number one location in America, and I'll work my way down. We'll go the opposite.
Number one.
The Hana Highway in Maui, Hawaii. The road to Hana.
Oh, yeah.
Which I don't see... That is a twisty, windy-ass road, by the way. It's switchbacks left and right. You're just you're constantly going back and forth, back and forth.
It's the Pacific Coast Highway, I think, right? That would be one as well.
17-mile drive in Monterey, California. California is number 7 on this list, Steve. So, that's along those lines. That's right along there.
And as you've been, I've been, it's all sorts of feelings come rushing over you because it is just so massively impressive.
I'm sorry, I just have to rub one out real quick here. I hope you don't mind. It's
Kids,
just,
Dad's got to pull over and rub one out.
I got it.
Why don't you play with your iPads?
You can't do that right now. You can't drive the length of it.
Can't rub one out.
You can't rub one out? No, because of the landslide, right?
Yeah, there's these islands now along the Pacific, the Pacific, PCH, thank you, and Route 1. And so there's this landslide, and the road has been washed out, so you cannot drive the length of it.
How substantial is that? Because I don't think they could even build a bridge over. They built a bridge over one.
Yeah, you can't, Steve. It's a constant problem, and every spring there's runoff and floods and mudslides and whatever. But this year it's been pretty bad. Preston, there's that restaurant you told me about, Nepenthe. Remember that?
Oh, Nepenthe.
Nepenthe, thanks. Yeah, and so that is about as far south as you can go. And then you have to go back north and then work your way around it.
That sucks, too, because you probably have to go a fair distance to get around everything. Yeah.
So another one running down this list, number 2, Great Smoky Mountains National Park in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. I've been there. It's very
gorgeous.
Very, very pretty.
Gorgeous.
Pikes Peak Highway, Colorado Springs, Colorado. I've been up the top of Pikes Peak. I assume that's where this is.
Yeah, you got to pay for it, which is kind of odd.
Yeah.
It's a pay highway, and there's like a massive gate to get through. It's fun. I mean, it's a cool thing to drive up at.
We took the Cog Railway,
which also closed for a number of years, and I think it reopens next year. They brought in this Italian train company to completely...
All aboard.
completely renovate the Cog Railway, and it's a long, laborious process.
Wow.
But it's going to be, you're going to be able to take the Cog Railway up again.
Lookout Mountain Parkway in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
I've been to Chattanooga many times. I've already been there.
Skyline Drive, which is in Shenandoah National Park, Virginia. Red Rock Canyon Scenic Drive in Las Vegas.
Gorgeous.
17-mile drive. We already mentioned that. These are the most popular makeout spots in America, according to the survey. Number 8 is South Mountain Park in Phoenix. The A1A Coastal Highway in Florida.
A1A Beachfront Avenue. That's to Key West.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, that's the
A1A is?
2-lane highway that goes from Miami to Key
Bad
West.
Monkey.
Yes.
That's a TV show.
Oh, I started it, guys.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Bad Monkey.
How many episodes?
2.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. It gets better as it goes along.
It's
really
good.
Cheers.
That's another show.
Everyone knows your name.
And the last one on this list is Rangeley Lakes Scenic Byway in Maine. Rangeley, Maine. So, yeah, these are romantic.
Do they have
locations.
a 3-legged dog?
Makeout spots. in around the country. But I was trying to think of ones in our area because we were talking about Lover's Lane the other day. Remember, Kathy was reporting on an actual street.
And I'd asked if it
Lover's
was,
Lane.
yeah, did he get that name because it was known as a Lover's Lane, which used to be the old, the classic, the cars all there and steamed up windows and all that stuff. So
what do they call that in like the 50s?
Watching the subway races.
No, the
submarine races.
Oh,
Inspiration
Submarine
Point.
races.
Submarine races where you'd be at a lake or whatever.
Right,
and saying we're watching the
Right.
There's nothing out there.
Yeah.
We're watching the submarine races.
Inspiration Point.
Inspiration Point.
Inspiration Point.
Hang on.
Or Hummerville.
Marisa.
Just wondering if you have the list for Brazil, because I wonder if row N in the Corinthians Stadium is the top makeup spot.
Why is that?
Were you seeing a lot of it?
I was in row O, and the two people in front of us made out the entire game.
They were just absolutely
Entire Eagles game. They were
make out session.
two people in Packers jerseys. He was a fan. She was just there for the game, and they were 20-something and made out the entire game.
Wow.
Tongue out. I think they actually started doing it on purpose. Like when we were doing the Eagles chant, when they would score, they would just start making out the entire time.
Okay.
Like that, wobble back and forth with your jaws, like going back and forth as you're
where you're
making
really
out.
grinding in there.
The last time I saw something like that was years ago. Our kids were little, and we were at Hershey Park, and we were in line for a ride. And there were these two 14-year-old teenagers, and they did not care. They were just making out hard in front of everybody.
I can't remember the last. Yeah, where that level of reckless abandon. Not necessarily reckless.
Marisa took a picture of these guys. And they look like they traveled there. They don't look like locals from this particular picture, Marisa. What's that?
They were locals.
Oh, they were locals. Okay. All right. So they didn't. Yeah. I doubt you would fly as far as you did and just sit there and make out during the game the whole time. Wow. Yeah. All right. So that was another thing I noticed.
From the noticer.
One last thing to notice, or do we not have time?
We
probably don't have time.
We probably don't have time.
Okay.
The noticer noticed we don't have time.
I just noticed two things. I'll notice more.
You'll notice more.
Next time, I promise you. We do need to take a break because it is getting close to 10 o'clock and we haven't done yet the second round of the Bizarre File, which is coming up next, as well as our final O song. Not the letter O, but the word O-H will be our final one. We'll be back in a second. Stay with us.
These parts of people manifest, myself included, that it's like, wow, you really, really get to know people in a way that you don't with others. And, now we're lucky. This life has afforded us the opportunity for the luxuries of buses and, hotel rooms and things like that. And, 20 years into it, we all really have come to love what we do. Whereas, through that 20-year stretch, there may have been times where we really disliked it. Right. And not the artistic part, but just the living, but for the most part, every day it feels like somebody talks about how excited and how grateful we are to be out.
Wow.
That's great.
It's such a it's an awesome place to be, man. And your fans are loving that you guys are having the success you are, and you're coming to town, and people have been stoked about the release of this album. So it's really cool. And judging by just glancing over our text messages, you got a bunch of new fans from sitting down and talking with us too, which is great.
Oh, sick.
I love it. So the Leah Core Center, July 27th, and tickets are available tomorrow at 10 a.m. CoheedandCambria.com. The new album, Vaxxus 2, A Window of the Waking Mind. Make sure you get that. We've been playing some songs from the album, and we're just excited. Thanks so much for coming on this morning, Claudio, and continued success to you and the band, brother.
Oh, thank you very much, and thank you for having me. This was awesome. I had a really good time.
Excellent. Awesome. Claudio Sanchez, guys, of Coheed and Cambria, and they're the real deal, man. Their body of work is dense. It is just, and by that I just don't mean by heavy in the music. There's a lot in the story.
Well, this is everything that, again, when we were getting concept albums, you were getting thematic albums and all that stuff, and you'd be in that world. This speaks to exactly that. So I'm going to start moving through the music because I really like what I've been hearing. Yeah. Yep. And I love the whole concept of this thing that is the band.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And Press, I almost opened up a whole new door of conversation there, because when we was talking about being locked in a van with people, and I just kept thinking about the book that you turned me on to, Project
Hail Mary?
Hail Mary.
Oh, Hail Mary, yeah.
Where, they're in space and they put these astronauts into suspended animation. And it's not because they don't want them to age. It's because if they had them in a spaceship for as long as they did, they would murder each other. That's a legit thing. And so when you have these bands that are just on tour, and they're on tour for the rest of, this month and through March, and then all through the summer, like when you're locked in a room with people, just think about how much you guys want to kill me after 5 hours of being in the studio, and then times that by 1,000.
Throw you on a bus with us. All right. We love you, though, man. We're intrigued by our next guest creation, so much so that we had to do it on our own, yet we don't have facilities to cook in. So Pagano's is a new restaurant that opened up in our building. We've been restaurant-less.
It's been a nightmare.
For 2 years until last week, so that was nice. And as soon as they move into the building, we asked them to do something for us, and they did.
We had to test it out.
And they took a bag of potato chips, actually a few different bags of potato chips, and made mashed potatoes out of them. And we got inspiration from our next guest to do that. And you know what? We gave it, it was interesting and tasty.
I liked it.
In its own way. But our next guest is actually coming to, and I assume we are interrupting his vacation because he's in Cancun, Mexico right now. You know him from his YouTube channel. Please welcome Sam, the cooking guy.
Yeah. Hey, good morning, everybody. How you guys doing?
Wonderful, Sam. How are you?
I'm good. But let me start by saying interesting is generally not how I hope my recipes are viewed when people make them.
Well, no, listen, here's the deal. I enjoyed the flavor of the potato mashed potatoes. The consistency was a bit interesting. It was very, I know it's potatoes, but it was like even more starchy and stickier than regular mashed potatoes, I thought.
Look, I cannot help with some. This is like eighth hand reviewing here. Right. My recipe goes to you guys. You guys don't even make it. You put it in the hands of a brand new restaurant. We have no idea if they can even cook.
It's true.
And now suddenly I'm being rated by this. I don't want the audience to take this one example as
all right. Fair enough. And you have plenty of great examples on your YouTube channel. So hey, number one, why are you what's going on in Cancun? What are you doing there?
Oh, just a vacation with my wife and two sister-in-laws and a husband. We tried to put together for a while now, and it's just gotten derailed for one reason or another. So just a little break because the weather in San Diego is probably 65 or 70 today, and who wants that? That's freezing. So we've come down here.
Yeah, where it's warmer. I can't believe you're checking in from your vacation. We appreciate that. That's really cool.
You guys reached out. I saw the comment on Twitter. You reached out, and I was honored. I'm always happy to chat with new friends.
Awesome.
And I hope that you call on me from time to time when you want to berate one of my recipes.
Certainly.
Well, I think he's reading it wrong. We approved.
Yeah, it was.
I in particular thought, not to go off on this too much, but taking potato chip flavors that you liked. I forget the one that was really a home run. No, listen. I want mashed potatoes made from potato chips to retain some of the potato chip flavor, and they did.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Look, years ago, before YouTube, I had a TV show in San Diego for a whole bunch of years, and we shot a show once that was based around mashed potatoes, and then we did certain things to them in one of the segments. And the person behind the camera never knew what my plan was until I started. And I said, okay, today we're going to start everything with these. And I reached into the pantry and I pulled out those dehydrated mashed potatoes that you guys talked about when you first discussed this. And she stopped the shooting and she went, you're effing kidding me. And I went, no, I'm not. I go, they're potatoes, just in a slightly different form. Look, dried porcini mushrooms are one of the great finds in the world. You rehydrate those and they're glorious.
Yeah.
A potato dehydrate. Come on, it's not the most sophisticated thing to start with. So what's the big effing deal?
Right. No, you're right.
Yes.
Hey, listen, real quick, Sam, you'd mentioned meeting new friends, and I'm new to your YouTube channel, and I can't wait to delve in and find out more about it.
Thank you.
Not knowing much about you, I pick up a little bit of a Canadian pronunciation. Where are you from originally?
I'm from Vancouver, Canada, West Coast, prettiest part of the country, we think.
Stunning. Both Steve and I have been there. It's just amazingly beautiful.
Absolutely.
It's not just beautiful, but it's a really cool city. It's got an amazing vibe. It's got a huge Asian population. It's got British influence from the old days. There's a touch of French. They all go together to make great food, interesting people.
And you guys got ahead on the marijuana thing way in advance of everybody else. That was pretty awesome.
Way in advance. Look, I was pushing for that as a 16-year-old boy living in that city, and they just they didn't listen to me then. It took them a while. I'd like to think I was the forerunner in that whole process.
So learning more about what you do. You know, I was watching a recipe this morning. It was from one of your newer videos, which was Italian fried rice. I make fried rice at least once a week, maybe a couple times a week.
Yeah.
It's a family recipe. It's really simple. It's nothing special, but it's something that I just love to do. And you've taken it in another direction. Is that, in a sense, what you like to do with most of your videos, is taking food into a new direction?
It is. I mean, sometimes we make fairly straight ahead things. We made mushroom risotto a couple weeks ago. Nothing amazing about the recipe. I mean, it's really delicious, but sometimes the goal is really show people that they can make things often that they don't think that they can make, that they're complicated. So I think we found a really interesting niche. When cooking channels are on YouTube, they're generally one of two types: all kitchen-based, sandwiches and salads and breads and blah, 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 that kind of stuff. Or they're sort of all outdoor barbecue-based, like smoking and grilling and sort of typically like caveman.
Right. You're right.
And we've mixed the two really nicely. We do almost all of our cooking outside. I'd say 97% is outside. But things outside that then maybe need to go into the oven. We'll make a lasagna that you wouldn't normally make outside. But we like our outside. It's my home. We like the outside set. It looks better. The lighting's better. And you don't need to see me really put something in the oven. If I make a lasagna and I go, this needs to bake for 10 minutes, why do I have to turn around and put it in a stupid oven?
Right.
I really don't. So we do the grilling where we're part live fire show, smoking, grilling, charcoal, Santa Maria style grills, that. And then we're also the side that does make the lasagna, the risottos, that kind of thing. We like to do across the board, so there's a little bit for everybody.
Well, you've got millions of subscribers, and there are loads of people doing different types of cooking on YouTube and other channels and here and there, and they always try to go after some kind of a hook, something that grabs you. And I was surprised, and I appreciated the fact that your presentation, or at least in the production, is very simple. It's very straight ahead. There's there's no magic editing, no little music, graphics and stuff. You keep it pretty simple and straight ahead, which is why I was kind of surprised you have the amount of people that subscribe, because I thought maybe there'd be more of a hook. But no, I'm assuming what it comes down to is you're just making good food.
It's an interesting sort of half comment, half compliment, and half negative compliment. You know, your show is really basic. It's like a third grader can do it. And now I'm surprised that you have almost 3.5 million subscribers.
I had a feeling you might take it like that.
So look, we've been on YouTube since 2011. And in 2018, we had 30,000 subscribers, middle of 2018. From the middle of 2018 to the middle of 2019, we went from 30,000 to 1 million. And then the next year, another million. The next year, another million.
Wow.
And I think what we do, you're right, there is nothing fancy. I do think, though, the technical work, the editing is beautiful. The work for our channel is as beautiful as any TV I've ever done, for a start. It is simple, but I think my goal is that people walk away with a good understanding. So there's more talking in ours, I think, than many of them. Many of them it's like 1 cup, 2 cups, stir, mix, pour, bake, that kind of thing. I'll say, do this. And if you don't have this, let me tell you a workaround for it, or here's why I like to do this. I feel like I'm a teacher. It seems silly at times, but I do feel like I'm a bit of a teacher, and I really want people to walk away saying, almost swore.
It's all good.
I really want people to know that this is how they can do this. I had an idea in 2001 to start a travel show on TV. And the basis of it was show people that they could go to places they thought were complicated. And it wasn't, they could do it. Don't go to North Dakota again this summer. Try someplace you've never been or you've been scared of. Maybe go to Hong Kong or Tokyo or something like that. And, in 2001, sadly, 9/11 happened to change stuff for me. But I decided to find something else I thought I could do on TV that I could also help people learn so that they could go, I can do this. And I came across literally within a week and a half of 9/11, I came across a cooking segment on a local channel here in San Diego. The guy was making a butternut squash soup. It was September, it was fall, it was a perfect thing to do. It was the most boring, complicated recipe I've ever seen. And as I watched that, I went, holy yes, somebody should make that better. And I went, damn it, I have nothing to do. I will try and make that better. My wife came home from work. I said, I'm going to start a cooking show instead of a travel one. She goes, I think that's a great idea. Just one thing, honey. I go, what? She goes, you just can't cook. I go, but see, here's the genius. I'll make things so easy, people will say I can do that.
No, that makes
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
All right, it's brought to you this morning by Pro Team Collision. If you find yourself in an accident, trust the pros. Pro Team Collision, your trusted auto body repair shop located in King of Prussia. You can go to proteamcollision.com. All right, so let's start with this one. New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu sprang into action yesterday after a contestant at the Hampton Beach lobster roll eating competition began to choke. Sununu said the gentleman at the far end, who I was kind of watching, I glanced over and I could tell very quickly he took a pause and he was having trouble getting something down. The contestant was Christian Moreno, and he began to signal for help, tapping on his chest and looking to get the stuck piece of lobster out of his windpipe as he began to struggle to breathe. And Sununu said, I started saying, hey, he's choking, and I could tell that people weren't responding. So I moved forward, and I immediately started to give him the Heimlich maneuver.
Good for him.
In the midst of the chaos, Sununu jumped in, moving to give him 4 or 5 compressions before first responders took over and helped free the stuck piece of lobster. Sununu said it was crazy because it wasn't so much the jumping and doing it. I mean, that was wild in itself, but there was so much commotion, and he added that as soon as Moreno's windpipe and throat were clear, he went right back to eating.
No, that's a competitor.
And ate another 7 lobster rolls after that.
Wow.
Moreno said this is his first eating competition. He said, lo and behold, the governor was the first one to notice what was actually happening.
It's amazing.
And I was just kind of like, all right, don't freak out. You're going to get this out and you're going to keep going. And it was not until after he put his glasses back on following the conclusion of the competition.
I'm okay.
When he said that he realized it was the governor who had saved him.
Gov?
Moreno said that he is grateful as he realizes that this situation could have been much worse. However, he said that he is determined to be back at the contest next year. The video is pretty damn funny.
That is hilarious.
I got it.
Yeah.
And he just keeps on eating. Wow. Another video. It's pretty freaky. I saw it. It shows meat appearing to crawl right off of a plate.
Stop it.
I don't like that.
Like in Better Off Dead?
Yes, a lot like that. Yeah, the viral video instantly saw people making comparisons to the world of the undead. While the meat may have been twitching on the plate, a zombie apocalypse is not on the horizon yet. Thankfully, there's a fairly simple explanation. Unfortunately, it's not because the dead have risen. The reason why the piece of meat has decided to make a run for it is apparently due to it for being a fresh cut. I believe it's a cut of fish of some type. Add to that the fat, the flesh is being exposed to salt, and the meat is almost certainly going to twitch as the diner had experienced. The exposure to salt makes the muscles contract even though it's no longer living. As a result, the meat flops around, freaking people out in the process.
Yeah, I'd want to die.
Yeah, we're looking at it. It looks fake to me, to be honest, but I saw this video and I don't know, man. Or I mean, I saw the description. While it was never confirmed where you can buy such food, many pointed out the footage may have come from a diner that does something called ikizukuri. Put simply, it means the establishment where live seafood is prepared, but the video is very weird. This is a wild story. A trail crew found a missing hiker in North Cascades National Park in Washington a month after his disappearance, officials said Thursday, and the man's rescuers say he may not have had another day in him.
That's amazing.
Officials report 39-year-old Robert Schock, a missing person, days after he was last seen at the park on July 31st. Witnesses saw the hiker near the area's Chilliwack River without any overnight supplies. And on August 30th, Schock was found, quote, alive and well, the sheriff's office said in a statement. But the trail crew responsible for his rescue and his mother paint a more dire picture of his state. Schock's mother, Jan Thompson, He isn't speaking very well, but he's coherent and seemed in pretty high spirits. Concerns around his disappearance began on August 3rd when an abandoned vehicle and his dog were found 8 miles from the hiking trail. Deputies found the vehicle with the windows rolled down and Schock's wallet on the dashboard. Several ground and air searches in the remote area were conducted through August 16th, but no clues were uncovered until his discovery last week. He was found by a crew with the Pacific Northwest Trail Association, which was working in the field when they heard him yelling for help. Jeff Kish, the executive director of the group, wrote on Facebook that Schock was found alive but not well. He said, "It is the belief of those who came to be involved in the rescue that Robert may have only had another day left in him before the outcome of his discovery would have been more tragic." Apparently, he had been immobile and stuck in one spot for 2 weeks.
So how? Think about it. What kind of yelling can you do when you're that weak?
That's where I had my bad fall. North Cascades a few years ago.
No kidding.
Yeah, and Steve, we did not have the Garmin with us at the time. But fortunately, I'm okay and made it out. But we got excellent help and service from the rangers who were working in that park.
So I would say this, in all these stories, even though I smashed the Garmin unit because of the billing thing, it is well worth having one when you go into these areas.
It can save a life.
Yeah. Initially, I think they thought he was alive and well because the first person who found him said, "Hey, how many fingers am I holding up?" And he said 2. And he said,
He's okay.
Yeah. Nice. His situation was dire. He said, "I won't provide most of the details that I learned about his condition today, because I think the only appropriate person to decide whether those details should be shared publicly is Robert himself." But that's, wow, man. But they didn't give up. They kept looking.
Yeah.
And sometimes, we've had these stories where we're like, oh,
gone.
They're dead.
Yeah.
And sometimes they hang on for a little while. So, all right. And then one last goofy little story here. A college student from India broke a Guinness World Record by transforming a refillable ballpoint pen into the world's smallest vacuum cleaner.
I'm down with this.
Tapala Nadamuni spent about $238 transforming his pen into a vacuum measuring just 1/4 of an inch at the shortest axis of its body. He said that the tiny vacuum creates suction via a tiny rotating fan powered by a 4-volt vibration motor, and it picks up particles of dust that can then be emptied.
We're looking at it. It is incredibly small. And pretty amazing.
And it actually works.
Does it come with attachments?
Nadamuni previously held the same record in 2020 when he built a vacuum cleaner measuring 0.69 inches, but it was later beaten by a smaller device measuring just 0.07 inches larger than his latest creation. But he is now...
They say his holy grail, his ultimate goal is to completely waste his life.
I think he's already done that.
Yeah.
All right, and there you go. That is what I have in the bizarre file for you this morning. All right, as I said earlier, I made a mistake, and I said that we were done with the OH songs. We have one more to go, and it is an absolute classic. So we will have that, and then we will move further into another subsection category of the O's. Actually, it's in and of itself, it's a state name. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us.
That makes complete sense, because I'll tell you what, as YouTube has grown over the years, and I remember clearly when the one video of the guy at the zoo that was the only available, and now we have, and we talk about it often, as a teaching device.
Yes.
Okay, I'm fixing this thing in my house. You can find somebody doing that, doing it with the tools specifically that you're using in the specific. And so I was just raging about what you just said a few minutes ago. I don't need all the production. I need someone to talk to me. And the way you're saying about giving is sort of a lesson on how to do it. It drives me crazy when they try to get too cute with the information imparting, and I'm there and I got the tools out or whatever. I'm like, just show me. Just tell me
how to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think, a lot of people that cook in the culinary space on YouTube, a lot of them are credentialed in the sense they've been to culinary school, that kind of stuff. And I have none of that. I've never taken a cooking class. I've never been to culinary school. And I think that benefits me in the sense that I don't lean on that chef terminology, the chef technique, that kind of stuff. I'll say things that regular everyday people would say, and it resonates with them and they can make it. And yes, I swear a lot. I'm sort of not normal that way. I was on a radio program live from Calgary a few months ago. And in the middle of the thing, the guy said the S word. And suddenly I went, oh my God, he's going to get in such trouble. And I went, oh no, it's Canada. They understand that that's not a word that's going to start a war.
Right.
No parents are going to write in about that yet.
So Sam, with your lack of culinary experience going into this,
sure,
you're now a restaurateur, right? I mean, like, so you own 3 restaurants?
I have 3 restaurants. Here's the important part of that, Preston. I have 3 restaurants with partners, and they came to me and they said, look, we're fans, but we like what you do. Here's what we do. Do we think we could put that together? And I said, yes, but I'm not going to be the guy that's going to be on the line in the back every day. I can't do that. I don't want to do that.
Right.
When we run out of tomatoes, I'm not the guy to get them. Right. When Susie calls in sick, I'm not the guy that has to stand up, jump in on the line again that day. I say I have the best restaurant job in the business. I get to be the inspiration, the face, the brand, the food, the recipes. And they do their part and I do mine. And it's been a good relationship so far.
There are so many business ventures that I wanted to get into where I'm like, can I not be the person that has to do all the stuff and just kind of give you guys some ideas or something like that?
Yeah,
I've never found any takers on that.
Well, it's a little bit more complicated than that, Preston, but it's a great relationship. And I know you're kidding, but it's a business that I said forever I would not go into on my own, because here's what I know. I don't know the restaurant business. And even though I have a successful YouTube following and, of course, a great following in San Diego, because this is where I started, I knew that I didn't know how to do that, which, unfortunately, a lot of people think it's about a dish or just a couple of recipes. Honey, your lasagna is so good, and that restaurant down the street is packed. If we had a restaurant, your lasagna is better, we'd be packed all the time.
Right. Yeah, there's a little bit more to it than that. Speaking of joking... And a listener had emailed me to ask you about this, to find out about this. They wanted to know, what's your beef with Guy Fieri, and is it a joke?
I've never met Guy Fieri. I am only jealous of his success. And he's such a public figure. Let him... his shoulders are strong enough that he can handle the jabs from a little 3.5 million YouTuber like me. Look, I think Guy Fieri on his show Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, though it's not my particular style, his style.
Yeah,
it's a bit too over the top for me. But I think he's really good at what he does.
Right.
I think he brings that whole show alive. He does. He had a cooking show when he first won the Food Network star thing. He had a cooking show, and he was in a kitchen. And the refrigerator had a racing stripe on it. There was a pool table. They were trained to play up this whole bad boy thing. I didn't think he was very good at that because he's so over the top. That being said, no, I don't, Of course I'm jealous of that success he's got. Come on.
Well, who would you consider your muse in the culinary world? Who inspires you the most?
Oh, I do like Jamie Oliver quite a lot. He doesn't use the Naked Chef title anymore, but he has a very natural style. There's nothing forced about it. I like the way that he just feels like you feel like he's just putting stuff together.
Right.
And people will say that about me, and I don't think it's that I modeled myself after him. I think this is just the style that came out, once I started cooking on TV. I like him, and I'm old. So I remember, Julia Child, not really, but certainly enough of her, and a guy named, then he was called the Galloping Gourmet.
I loved him. We talk about him all the time, Sam.
And
he was the master of that sort of approach.
Yeah, what I liked about both of them, Graham Kerr, his name, and Julia Child, if something effed up, they went with it.
Yeah.
They didn't, I read once that Rachel Ray in one of her shows in the very beginning cut herself quite badly. They stopped the tape. They crazy glued it, which you can do. It's 100% safe. Put makeup on it, then rolled the tape back a little bit, and then carried on like it never happened. If that happens to me, I swear, if I drop something, we leave it in. If I burn myself, we leave it in. If I can't get something out of a pan, we leave it in. And people will come up to me and they go, one of the things we like is that you make us feel like it's okay to make mistakes in the kitchen. It's almost more encouraging than anything else.
Yeah, I can see that.
So those two people have that style. And for that, I
Sam, I remember one time seeing Julia Child. She was cutting a chicken and she cut her hand open so like the blood was spurting all over the place.
Really?
The crowd was going crazy. It was. Oh, that was Saturday Night
Live. You sure that wasn't Dan? You sure that wasn't Dan Aykroyd?
No hindsight. Listen, speaking of the Food Network stars, Sam, does anybody, because of your look, does anybody think that you're Ted Allen from Chopped? Have you ever gotten mistaken?
So there was a big food event in San Diego a few years ago, and there was this big party the night before. And I'm there, and Ted Allen's there, and somebody says, "Oh, let me introduce you to Ted Allen." So I walk up, they introduce me, and he goes, "I have a funny story about you." I go, "What?" He goes, "We were in a restaurant last night. We finished our dinner. We come outside. We're waiting for the car. We're on the street, and a woman comes up, and she says, 'Oh, my God, I'm the hugest fan. Would you sign a T-shirt for me?' And he goes, 'Of course.' And he goes, 'I'm feeling good inside.' And she walks to her car. She comes back. Somehow she had like a plain T-shirt in her car. And he goes, 'I sign it for her. I hand it to her.' And she's so thankful. And she's walking down the street."
93.3 WMMR. You may not know that song's title is Oh, Pretty Woman. Not just Pretty Woman. O-H, Pretty Woman. And that wraps up the O's of the O's, if you know what I mean. Next, we move on to Ohio. That's where we're going to next. And then we get old for a little while. And then we're going to spend some time on a subject. And then we'll do a few onces and a whole bunch of ones. So we are in the O's as we speak. Back to school, A to Z. A lesson question is what we have now. And we're going to give away a pair of tickets as MMR rocks Kings of Leon, Monday, September 23rd at the Man. And Fantogram is going to be a special guest here. So you can win those tickets if you can tell me this. And I'm picking this question simply by how it is phrased. Who is the Josh Groban of Michael Bublé's? 215-263-WMMR. I know it was from early this morning. It was like 6:40. But if you were listening and you happen to know, we want to know who is the Josh Groban of Michael Bublé's? 215-263-WMMR. If you call, if you know, please call. We want the answer, and we'll do the trash while you're calling in.
The trash business is a gold mine. 93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
Brought to you by Philly Sports Trips. You can join us in Clearwater Beach next March for the spring training trip of a lifetime. Go to phillysportstrips.com and place a small deposit to reserve your spot, and we'll have a blast again, this time with you. What's going on, Steve?
Well, Dakota Johnson admitting that she almost had a seizure because she was slamming Celsius energy drinks without realizing they're loaded with caffeine. Johnson says her blood pressure was so high that her vagina began to yodel.
Whoa!
It's amazing. Mr. Greedy, an African penguin at the Maryland Zoo who fathered over 200 other penguins, has died at the age of 33. The zoo's autopsy revealed the cause of death, exhaustion.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And finally, poker pro Dan Blazarian officially listing his massive Las Vegas estate/private amusement park for $25 million. Listen to this. The 38,000 square foot home includes an indoor rock climbing wall, trampoline room, bowling alley, a 16-car garage, and a live-in assistant who will keep telling you that you don't look like a douchebag. That's your Hollywood Trash.
All right, we will see if someone knows the answer to this question. Who is the Josh Groban of Michael Bublé's? And we'll go to Glenn, see if he was listening. Hey, Glenn, good morning, bud.
Good morning.
All right, who is the Josh Groban of Michael Bublé's?
Michael Bublé.
Yes, Michael Bublé, yes. His birthday today. Hang on, Glenn. We are going to give you, let me see, I didn't even say what it was. Oh, yes, I did. Yeah, tickets to Kings of Leon. MMR rocks the show. It's the Can We Please Have Fun tour. Monday, September 23rd at The Man with special guest Fantogram. Tickets are on sale now via Ticketmaster. You can go to WMMR.com and have a chance to win pit tickets while you are there.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR. Oh, boy.
All right, I have two stories, I believe, to run by you. Yeah. This one we mentioned in the entertainment news earlier this morning, but Linkin Park's new singer, Emily Armstrong, has been hit with some criticism for allegedly supporting actor and convicted rapist Danny Masterson in court. And now the musician is responding on social media. The singer, who was announced as the new vocalist for Linkin Park on Thursday, shared a message on her Instagram story Saturday that seemed to address the backlash. She wrote, "Hi, I'm Emily. I'm new to so many of you, and I wanted to clear the air about something that happened a while back." She acknowledged a situation in which she supported a controversial figure in the post, but she did not mention Masterson by name. She wrote, "Several years ago, I was asked to support someone I considered a friend in court at an appearance, and went to only one early hearing as an observer." And she wrote, "Soon after, I realized I shouldn't have. I always try to see the good in people. I misjudged him. I've never spoken with him since. Unimaginable details emerged, and he was later found guilty." She concluded with words of support for victims of sexual abuse. She wrote, "To say it as clearly as possible, I do not condone abuse or violence against women, and I empathize with the victims of these crimes." The band released its first new single in 7 years on Wednesday. We had coverage of it live.
Yes, we liked it.
And announced that Armstrong would take over lead vocalist duties for a forthcoming album and world tour. Fan reactions to Linkin Park's first performance with Armstrong, which was live streamed, seemed largely positive until social media users began to discuss the singer's alleged history with Masterson. But she's made it pretty clear now that she was only supporting a friend at the time and did not know that he was behind.
That's what it seems like.
So, upon his initial arrest in 2020, Masterson was charged with raping 3 women in separate incidents between 2001 2003 and was convicted on 2 out of 3 of the counts of rape in a retrial in May 2023.
And he's currently serving time, yes?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Long time.
And then one more story, and I bring this up. This is a bit of a stretch, but let's keep in mind this band played Woodstock. Screamin' Scott Simon, who played in the early rock revival group Sha Na Na for more than half a century and co-wrote the song Sandy from Grease. Passed away of sinus cancer. He was 75 years old.
Wow.
Sandy! When I was a kid, I was a kid, mind you, when that show was on. I loved Sha Na Na.
Sha Na Na was a cultural phenomenon. Yes, they were at Woodstock. In fact, they're right at the beginning of the movie. But
it was for the show. If you're not familiar with it, it was a throwback to the doo-wop style, and it played kind of like Hee Haw did. They had goofy skits and they had guest stars. And
Grease
things
meets
like
Hee
that.
Haw.
Yeah, it's along those lines. So, the elder Simon joined Sha Na Na in 1970. The year after its founding as a 1950s, early 60s and rock and roll doo-wop revivalist act. He remained with the group along with original members Donnie York and Jaco Marcialino until disbanded in 2020. He played piano, and he would play covers like Whole Lotta Shakin' Going On, At the Hop, and others, and was known for his signature shirt. His sleeves had piano keys, and he would often pretend to play them. Along the way, Simon and Sha Na Na hosted their own syndicated variety show from 1977 to 81, and they also appeared as the fictional Johnny Casino and the Gamblers in the movie Grease. Simon and Louis St. Louis co-wrote the ballad Sandy, especially for the movie, which Travolta sings as he laments a drive-in date gone wrong with Sandy. He was born in Kansas City, moved to Los Angeles, performed in all 96 episodes of Sha Na Na. On tour, by the way, Sha Na Na performed with acts like John Lennon and Yoko Ono, Steve Martin, Bruce Springsteen, Billy Joel, and more.
They were huge.
Although the group played primarily classic 50s and 60s songs, Simon composed multiple songs and solo albums performed by the band and himself on records and on television. So
they did one concept album, Dark Side of the Shah.
Dark Side of the Shah.
Can I just give one plug, Preston, for the concert coverage for tonight?
Yes, please. Sorry about that, Nick.
No, we'll be back down at Pearl Jam. Pierre and Brent and I. Brent's actually going to start a show here, and then when his show's over, he'll head down to Pearl Jam as well. But I wanted to bring it up because if you are going tonight, there's a Phillies game across the street, and the Phillies game starts at 6:40. Glenn Hansard is the opener for Pearl Jam. He goes on stage around 7:30 or so, and then Pearl Jam around 8:30, 8:45. So just be aware that if you can take mass transit or take the subway down or whatever, it might be a good idea because there's probably going to be 40,000 Phillies fans rolling in and 15,000, 20,000 Pearl Jam fans. So just be aware of that tonight.
All right. Thank you for the heads up, Nick. Appreciate that. We are going to take a quick break, come back in a second, and we'll wrap up the program, but not before we take a little visit to Ohio in the back to school A to Z. We'll be right back.
gets about 2 doors down, and she turns around and she goes, "This doesn't say Sam the cooking guy." And he goes, "I didn't know who you were, and then I asked somebody, and now I see you." And he goes, "Yeah, I do think we kind of look alike."
So it's valid.
That's fantastic.
It's valid, 100%. Yeah, it's these dumb dopey glasses that I will now have to own for the rest of my life, or I won't look like them.
It's your look. Don't screw with what's working.
Like I'm okay with it. I'm okay.
So,
with it.
Sam, you've delved into the cheesesteak realm on the show.
Yes. God, and please. Oh no, I feared this might come up. Yes. Look, my next cookbook. May I show you?
Yeah, please.
Oh.
Sam the cooking guy between the buns. I love it.
So tacos, hamburgers, sandwiches, burgers, and burritos. So there is a. By the way, if you pre-order this, you have a chance to win a virtual cooking class, private one, just me, you, and whoever you want.
Nice.
Wow. So there's a Philly steak sandwich in here, and I think one of the biggest problems people make is they overcook the meat, they cut the pieces too thick, they overcook the meat, they undercook the vegetables. Okay. You want the vegetables in here, the peppers and the onions, to be really well caramelized. Mm-hmm. And you can't do that in 2 seconds in a pan. And if you cut the meat too thick, when you take a bite, you get a big hunk of meat hanging off your lip that's no longer in the bread.
Yep.
And it's tough. You can't do that.
It's funny you should bring that up. It's funny you bring that up because now you can use that as a Rorschach test here in Philadelphia, because whatever place you align with will say a lot. It's sort of like a personality profile. I tend to agree. To me, the classic cheesesteak is thinly sliced meat, but there are people who love it the other way, and it's for the exact reason you mentioned. You pull out half the sandwich with every bite you take. But it probably exists in the pantheon of those, as with pizza. Whatever way works for you is the right way to make it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So before our YouTube channel style now, which are episodes that are 15-ish minutes long, sometimes much less. We had a version of it. It was called the Sam Livecast, and it was part talk show, like me at a desk talking like this. We did it live, and then I'd go in the kitchen and cook something. Back in those days, Tony Luke came to San Diego, and a friend of mine said, "Hey, do you want to do something with him?" And I said, "Of course." So he came to my house, and we had a dueling Philly cheesesteak competition. He did his version, which was damn good. I did my version that had a slight Asian, little Asian inspiration to us. I think mine was better. I'm just going to brag. Go out there and say that. I don't think I could ever get Tony to say that, though. And though we've only met once, I think he was a really, really, really nice guy.
He's a great guy. And, he's a friend of the show.
It's great. So yes, I'll also say this for people listening. This is back to the teaching part. Thinly sliced meat, cooked very quickly on a hot surface, is much more forgiving in the end than big, fat, thick pieces.
Yep.
So if a first-timer is out there trying to make a great Philly cheesesteak, or any kind of cheesesteak, slice it thin. You'll find you won't F it up nearly as much as those thicker thumb-sized pieces of meat.
Sage advice. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
From a guy that never went to culinary school. Swears a
lot. Wow. It's impressive stuff. So what are some of the newer things coming up that we can look forward to that you're tackling on the YouTube channel?
Well, let's see. So we just shot the other day. I think it was really fun. We bought 5 Instapots, lined them all up on the kitchen counter, and we started at one end. It put one thing in, one thing, and then went back and showed how they turned out. And Instapots are great.
Oh, I mean,
any type multi-cooker. So this will come out today, I think. It's Monday. I think it's today's episode.
I wanted to get a handle on what you thought about the Instapot, because my wife, I got her one. It was all the rage, I think, 2 years ago. The Instapot.
Yeah.
And so I contend there's a lot more we can do with it, but it doesn't seem to be lighting her fire. But you believe in the Instapot?
Look, in my personal life, I don't use one very often.
Yeah.
But then here's what we learned about the channel. It's not what I want. It's what the audience wants, right? In any business, it should be that. Here's what we made. In one, we made a short rib ragu in about, an hour, start to finish. Unbelievably delicious. Put it on pasta. We made a shrimp, chicken, and sausage jambalaya. dump everything in, stir, close the lid, turn it on the rice cooker setting, which the Instapots do. Amazing. We made macaroni and cheese, a little truffle mac and cheese in one in about 10 minutes.
Huh.
We made pork ribs in half an hour in the Instapot, and then took them out and put them under the broiler for 5 minutes. I mean, you can't do that any other way. You really can't.
Yeah.
And that's using the pressure cooker setting.
Okay.
So it's impressive what you can do with these things. Depends on how you like to cook. My wife and I eat pretty simply. Dinner, all our kids are grown. So dinner for us is always a big ass salad with some protein on it. Chicken, shrimp, steak, that kind of thing. We like burgers. So I use a grill. I use my stovetop. I use, whatever. I don't really use an Instapot a whole lot in my personal life, but
well, yeah, because it's just you. I think, yeah, like to me, I guess maybe that's what the reticence. It's just us. It's just two people, and you're always making an ass load of stuff.
Yeah, but do you make ribs? I mean, you don't see. Here's the thing that I get: people go, "Well, will you do an episode on cooking for one?"
Yeah,
I go, "Yeah." Go to the store and buy one stinking steak. You don't have to go to Costco.
Yeah.
140 pounds of ribeye. You don't. You can buy one freaking potato and make mashed potatoes for just you.
Yeah.
Or F the potato and buy a bag of chips. Use that for your mashed potatoes.
Make your mashed potatoes.
You just brought up something that has bugged me about my wife for years. When we would make mashed potatoes, just the two of us before kids, she would buy 5 pounds of potatoes, make up mashed potatoes. I'm like, how many potatoes can you sit down and eat? One, right? Let's just mash up 2 potatoes and that ought to do it.
Then you got it. Then what are you doing with the rest of them? My last book, leftover recipes with intentional leftovers, was what you do, make a chicken, and then what you do with it besides just eating chicken the same way every night. You make a giant big pile of mashed potatoes, and you got to figure out what to do. Then you're making mashed potato cakes and stuff like that, and it's good. But 2 potatoes, 2 people, 2 potatoes. I think you'll be okay.
Do you know what appeals to me about your approach to this? Because I do love. We do. There's a segment that we do every week. The connoisseur about cooking and all that stuff. And because so many people connect on, everyone finds a level to connect to something. Food is always a topic of discussion. And so my wife and I, we rate things on what we call the reheat factor. How does it reheat? And I contend there are some foods that are better on the reheat than they are on the initial serving. Do you agree?
Of course. Lasagna.
Yeah.
I think lasagna is great when it comes out of the oven. I just think something magical happens when you reheat it. Pizza is a sticking point for me. In that book, the Leftovers book, I showed how to make a pizza and then how to reheat it. I know there's a lot of people, they'll dump all over me for showing how to reheat pizza. I like cold pizza the next morning. I was like, after cold pizza, I can't stand it. So I say you do this. You take a nonstick pan, you put it on the heat, like medium-high heat. Then you take a slice of pizza, you put it on a plate, you put it in the microwave for about 45 seconds to a minute. It starts to get all bubbly on top. The second it's bubbling on top, take it out of the microwave, you slide it right into that now hot nonstick pan. It should hit the pan and go get a little bit of that. And now the bottom is getting crispy. The top is all hot and melty. The bottom's getting crispy. It's pretty close to how it came out of the box. No, it won't come out of the box like that.
93.3 WMMR. It's everything that rocks. And the O is the classic from Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, Ohio. And actually, we're going to have old Neil Young popping back up in just 2 more songs in the O's. I'm sure he appears quite a bit throughout the Back to School A to Z, as there are plenty of songs he's written throughout the years. We have a nice chunky section. Once we get to the ones, O-N-E, when we get to the ones, there are several songs that start off with that word. So, as Pierre has said, there's these cool little subsets.
Yes, and you look forward to these. Yeah, absolutely.
And some of them are, covers of those songs. I have a couple of different versions. So,
any projection as to completion date?
I haven't heard anybody talking about it yet.
I can't get a fix on it.
Right before camp out, it should be.
Right before camp out, we'll be able to wrap that up, hopefully.
We'll
see about that, man. I want to thank Mr. Robert Irvine for being our guest this morning. His birthday bash at the Phillies is coming up September 24th. It is his birthday. and it's the last home regular season game. And you can go to Phillies.com/Robert Irvine, I believe, to get the tickets. But it's a prefix menu. It's before the game. There's, drinks, there's beer and wine, all kinds of stuff. I talked to somebody who went last time, had a blast.
It's awesome.
Kruk is going to be there hanging out with Irvine, and he's a great guy. And then he's back down in Ocean City, Maryland for the Oceans Calling Music Festival, September 27th through the 29th. Irvine will be doing the cooking for that. He's supplying the food, and there's a load of great bands that are playing on that.
It's a hell of a roster.
Bill. So cool to have him on today. Very, very nice. So we are happy about that. Pierre is indeed here. How was your weekend? I know you went to the Pearl Jam show with Nick.
Yeah, Pearl Jam was Saturday, and wonderful, exhausting, but wonderful. And again tonight. And as Nick said, you might want to take into account the baseball game. What time does that start again?
Baseball starts at 6:40. Pearl Jam probably goes on stage around 8:30 or so. Glenn Hansard, the opener, will be on stage at 7:30. So a busy night in the sports complex in South Philly.
They came on a little later than 8:30 on Saturday, didn't they?
Yeah,
it was 8:40, 8:45.
Yes. Yeah.
But you never can tell. So you want to be in place. The opening of any given show is my favorite part.
Yeah.
Watching a band take the stage, sometimes to dramatic effect, sometimes not. Eddie was wearing this jersey with 34. I don't know the significance.
It's a Walter Payton jersey, and he's been wearing it all tour. And I posted some pictures up on Instagram of Ed wearing this Bears jersey, and people were like, he's wearing a Bears jersey in Philadelphia? And I was like, well, no, he's actually just been wearing it all tour. And he's from Chicago, or grew up in Chicago, so he's a Bears fan, he's a Cubs fan, and he had a relationship with Walter Payton, and actually Walter Payton's son came out at one of the Wrigley shows where Pearl Jam was 3 weeks ago or something like that. Anyway, yeah, he's wearing it every night, and he started the night on Saturday with a jacket over the jersey. Yeah, right. Came out to Long Road, which is a great song.
He's wearing this kind of like fisherman's hat, like a sort of a hip version of Henry Fonda in On Golden Pond. And running around, and Jeff Ament was also wearing a similar kind of hat in the beginning. It just was a great show.
Eddie, can you hear the loons? I can hear him, you old bitch.
And so it goes. So full concert coverage again tonight.
Nice. Excellent. Letter of the day. You want to do
Yes.
that? All right, here we go.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
All right, the Preston and Steve show is brought to you today by the letter
P as in Pearl Jam.
All right, and we're going to give away a 4-pack of tickets for the just announced and already sold out Linkin Park concerts this Monday, September 16th, Barclays Center in Brooklyn. You can check out the new album From Zero, available November 15th, and it features the new single, The Emptiness Machine. So we'll give that away on Friday. Anything you want to touch on about your program today?
I would like to touch everything.
Do it. It's all yours.
I'm touching on everything.
All right. I want to thank our
That's
sponsors.
weird. I want to go now.
Preston and Steve Show is brought to you today by
Stranger danger.
Duncan, and the Preston and Steve Show runs on Duncan. Also brought to you by Acme Markets, fresh foods, local flavors. Tomorrow on our program, David Wisikin is hopping in, and Adam Weiner together, which is really cool. And then we're going to have Melissa Fitzgerald from the West Wing in our studio too.
Wow.
And who knows what else with the back to school A to Z. So that's it. We're done. Rage on. Have yourself a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow, friend. Bye-bye.